I hope that works. Oh my god. Yeah, Jesus Christ, what has just been going on with my computer? Been a completely unexpected stuff where it's just been not working. I was pressing go live and it was saying no. No, it just refused to go live. I don't know why that happened. It said some graphics update. I did the update, still didn't do anything. Still was empty. And I was already quite anxious about starting the stream. I didn't stream in like 3 months. This is a pretty hard stream, which is gonna be pretty intense. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty hard. So let me just check graphics the voice. Update. Yep, I did the update, still didn't do anything. Still perfect. Yeah, today there's gonna be no music. Yep, because it's a pretty serious stream with a presentation. Well, the presentation is mostly for me, for my personal notes. You're just gonna see it along the stream. But yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna talk a lot about mental health today. Yes, basically, as you may have noticed, I've been quite absent from the gaming streaming scene. I've been there's been a lot of stuff which has been going on, which is just like, you know, the surface, yeah, just like fucking, oh my god, it's been quite diabolical, yeah, it's been a lot, but yeah, basically the latest and greatest news is that I finished on my university deadlines, thankfully a month ago or more. The stream was supposed to be a month ago, but thanks to university deadlines, a lot of stress, a lot of things, so yeah, totally burned out, totally was fucking, I don't know how I fucking survived that, but yeah, it's been quite a burnout, quite a deal, I would say, quite a few things. It's very weird without music, but yeah, I just can't be bothered setting it up. So yeah, basically it's been quite a lot. It's been a lot of things going on. So that's why I need a presentation, because when I don't lose the track of what I'm saying. So the big topic of our stream is OCD, Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, which I have been officially diagnosed with as well during the time I've been off streaming. But yeah, it's been quite a fun 3 months. No, it wasn't fun. It was fucking diabolical. It was insane. But yeah, a lot of people before confused OCD with our things. Is a pretty underdiagnosed thingy. Being very taking lightly. I forgot how to speak English. I'm so sorry. That's actually why I started streaming back in the day. I mean, not streaming, just making videos, streaming and stuff like that to like practice my English. And I haven't been doing that. I haven't been gaming. I have been talking to a lot of my to my Russian parents. You know, I only have Russian parents, but yeah, to my parents which speak Russian. So my English might be a bit, you know, but no, I think I'm fluent, so it's okay. It's just my anxiety, to be honest, at this point, because I did not speak in a while. So especially to the stream, especially on like that. Yeah, so let me just take a drink. And I think we should be starting the mental health update, but of course. So I've been planning the stream for a pretty long while, very long while. I'm gonna show it to you guys. I started making a presentation because I'm actually, you're gonna learn a lot of things about me today. So I'm not even gonna say why, but you know, procrastination, perfectionism, you know, those things, those bastards where I wanted to make a fucking cool ass presentation, where I wanted to be like, nah. The only reason I'm live right now is because I set myself a deadline, which I'm gonna live regardless today. So I had to really speed up on the presentation thing. So it just knows. Don't worry about it too much. I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna yap today. I'm gonna talk about the mental health. Sorry, I do need to be a bit more serious, but you know, fun is always a coping mechanism for me, at least. So yeah, let me just dial it down a bit. So let's start. Yeah, basically with OCD, a lot more people are familiar now thanks to a certain content creator who also has been diagnosed, Rambo, if you've heard about him. which was actually well. No, I don't. I watched him like a bit in the past, so I didn't really notice anything like that. But yeah. So he talked about it, or they, them. I'm sorry, I didn't keep up with their pronouns. So I'm just gonna be on the safer side because I heard some non-binary. So like they are non-binary as far as I'm aware, or maybe transgendering already, transitioning. So yeah, they, them. Rambu talked about it, and it's actually amazing because sorry, I'm so anxious, but yeah. Rambo talked about it, and it's actually amazing because more people now know what OCD is. But sadly, OCD is so diverse. It has a lot of angles, a lot of things. There's like experience is very different for each person, and I really wanted to talk about my experience for a while. So and it's a pretty it's different because the main factors which overlap is the obsessions and compulsions. Otherwise, it can be very customizable, I would say. Yeah, sorry, this is just me not looking at the notes right now, and but yeah, here we go. This is the actual start, the actual beginning. Everything else was just me waiting for potentially people joining the stream. I've been stalling this whole time. Yeah, it's crazy. My introduction is always stalling. But yeah, basically, as you may see, I started this presentation. I don't know why I want to show proof because I just feel like it. But yeah, as you can see, July 8th, 11. Yeah, I started this thing because I was like, yeah, I really want to stream because yeah, I want to come back to streaming. I actually do. I really enjoy streaming. It's like one of the things which I do really like. So I was like, yeah, I need to do this presentation because I really want to talk about it. I want to bring more awareness to mental health and stuff like that. But boom, there's like so much shit happened as well recently, which is kind of crazy. It's just like me going to Russia been on my mind quite a lot. So I've been like, oh my God, I don't really want to remind myself of it because I'm so excited now. Because when I go live, I'm like always so excited and like anxiety. Like when you before going live, I was literally just shaking myself. I was. Oh my God! Stop! Please stop. Okay, I was basically shaking, and yeah, it's been not good. It's been awful. So yeah. I started this whole thingy on July 8th, and as you can see, procrastination cycle till today. So yeah, it's not like but I just decided to do this thing. No, it's been like I've been planning this for months, but yeah. So welcome everybody. This is actually where we're gonna start. I still been stalling this whole time, as you notice. I've been stalling. I'm a professional staller. I'm a yapper. So now, if you're just turning into the stream, you missed absolutely nothing except me fumbling and accidentally misgendering Rambu because I have no idea what their current gender is. So yeah, that's the update so far. Not so great, but yeah, let's start. Actually, I think it's Mayban. I'm sorry. I'm gonna double check later this information because I need fuck. Okay, I'm gonna check it right now. Oh my God, nah. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. Okay, Rambo. But yeah, because Rambo came out about their OCD diagnosis, and it actually brought a lot of awareness to it. So I was like, damn, that's amazing. That's of course what I want to do as well, is bring awareness to it. But now the more people know, it's great, it's awesome. But again, so different. It affects so many people differently. Today, my focus of OCD based on magical thinking, as far I rewatched the video 3 times, which Rambo did, and they didn't talk about magical thinking like in the same way it manifests in me. At least I didn't catch magical thinking in theirs, but it's really made a lot of sense. It's very customizable for each person's experience and what they care about. So yeah. So Rambo gender. Let me just check. Non-binary. Okay, they them. All right. Good. Okay. I said myself how putting. Sorry. I accidentally misgendered earlier, but yeah, it's a they them now. All right. All good. All right. So let's start. Let's begin. This is where my video is gonna begin probably. So I've been really fumbling so far. So I'm so sorry. I feel so awkward and so bad right now, but it's okay. Mental health updates. This is my update notes. I'm gonna look at them. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, what did I write down? What did I write down? So yeah, that's the thing. Sorry, I'm just coping with my stress with humor. So I'm gonna try to be more serious now. All right. So let's start. I've been officially diagnosed while I've been away from streaming for 3 months. It's been official. I've been diagnosed with OCD, Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, as I thought I'll have to explain it more deeply, but many of you are now familiar with it, so thank God, Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. But of course, later down the line, there's a whole slide explaining all the differences and stuff like that. But also, it was been a surprise to me, and in retrospect, it was not a surprise at all. I've been diagnosed with GAD, which means Generalized Anxiety Disorder, GAD. So yeah, I tend to worry quite a lot more often than our people do. I just worry about a lot of things, about small things, about little things, and it's always like, it's not really great. I would say it's taking over a lot of my time, just worrying about shit which really doesn't really matter in grand scheme of things. So yeah, or just like being paranoid in general. But yeah, there's gonna be slides in order: OCD, general anxiety disorder, and the latest one, which I've been previously diagnosed and yet again confirmed once more, is social anxiety. But yeah, social anxiety, as you can see, I've been so fumbling today earlier. So as you can see, I get really anxious when I don't stream for a while, because it's just like, oh my god, like a lot of people potentially can see this shit, and it's really like hitting my brain like, oh my god, a lot of people are like, my fumbles are so bad, but they're also so fucking hilarious, especially in the moment. But like later down the line, I'm so gonna overthink everything I said. Like it's not great. It's not great. I've been suffering with this thing for a while, since I was like, since school. But yeah, it's I even had therapy for especially social anxiety, which helped a lot in general. But sadly, it was like, I would say I had a rollback, or like was a setback. Yeah, I had a setback, a major setback recently. Even at university, I had to like ask somebody something, and I just couldn't, because I felt so awkward. I felt like, oh my god, we're gonna have a negative reaction. What was like not really. I just like, oh my god, bro. Like I just couldn't make myself ask them, and it was like, oh no. It was like about university. Basically, we have like student managers or something like that, where is a student given like a specific role, and to solve a problem. Basically, I'm not gonna talk about specific problem which was going on with like the management of the university, but I like the head person told me to like talk to them, like the head of our, like, it's called our class, which is like a teacher. Talk to them because we're gonna bring it up. And then I just like, oh my god, I want to do it for like 5 days, couldn't do it. I just feel like, but yeah, about social anxiety, we're gonna have a separate slide as well. So just me blabbing currently. So introducing OCD. All right, finally I have notes. So OCD, or Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, it's been misrepresented and misdiagnosed for years, and a lot of people believe it's just some small thing, it's just like some little thingy which doesn't matter, about like organization of bookshelves or visually appealing things, or for example, if you can't like take that something is dirty or something like that, where like you have to like have it clean, you have to be perfect in a way, where like something like has to be visually appealing, or else you're like, oh my god, I can't stand that thing. Like for example, somebody walks into my room with this thing and be like, oh damn, so disorganized, how do you live like that? So that is usually, not all cases, but that is usually called Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder, OCPD. And it's not the same as OCD at all. OCD, in a sense, is quite deeper, I would say. I wouldn't say it's like worse, but yeah, it's fucking, it's crazy. Literally, like, you know, it feels more on the insane side to me. You know, it's like, it just like when I was a child, when I first started having OCD, I felt insane. So like OCD is more like a mental disorder, while it's a personality disorder. But for this one, OCPD is a personality disorder, and OCD is a mental disorder. So it's person believes that their way is the right way and see nothing wrong with it with OCPD. In simple terms, overly controlling in how things should be arranged/organized. Yeah, and they usually don't care. Like they usually don't like it. Usually doesn't cause distress for them, and could be in a very small form when you just care about how visually appealing stuff is. For example, I'm gonna give an example in a second. And if it's not you, what? Sorry, my notes are fucking crazy. Dyslexia. And if it is not you, try to make it. What? Uh, I don't understand what I've written down here. Let me just roll back for a clue. Hey, Mitch, so you streaming and I can listen. So I go, good. Thank you, Clarissa. Sorry, I'm not gonna read chat a lot today because it's a presentation. You can rewatch it later. I don't care. It's gonna be maybe a separate video later on, but currently it's a stream because, you know, live. But yeah, basically, and if it's not, you try to make it visually appealing, or like, oh my god, yeah. So if it's not visually appealing, you try to make it visually appealing. For example, I saw a YouTube short about this thingy. If a lot of people are aware about Zelda Breath of the Wild, or like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, where people have those circles where they have to run, and somebody couldn't do it like perfectly, so this part was missing, and they said it really triggered their like OCD. But in reality, what it triggered was their obsessive compulsive personality disorder. So it was like basically a whole different thing. And then people talk about obsessive compulsive personality disorder, like, oh my god, I'm so OCD, I can't bother like when something's not organized. People with actual OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, get really triggered by it, personally as well, because, oh my god, really? Like, really? You're gonna talk about this little thing while, like, for example, I do like a fucking rituals trying to save people from dying, or otherwise, if it's like, if I don't do it, people fucking die. Like, are you seriously saying that's like this thing is comparable? I don't know why the name is so similar. The person naming this should really reconsider, because like, oh my god, it's caused so much confusion, which has just recently been like yeah, type in chat if you want me to see it, or DM me, by the way. Okay, it's fine, it is fine. You can watch it later as a recording, as a what? No worries. Enjoy your day. But yeah, I'm not gonna interact with chat that much today. Sorry. It's really okay. So major OCD types. What are those? Basically, there's obsessive compulsive disorder. A person, very big disclaimer, may experience either pure obsessions or pure compulsions. It's not my case, one. In my case, it's a full package deal with obsessions and compulsions. But let me tell you what could be like. Maybe if you experience this, you will notice it, and you will like go to a professional and get officially diagnosed as well, and it could improve your life. So let me tell you what to look out for. So if you have just intrusive thoughts and compulsions are invisible due to happening inside your mind, for example, avoiding like knives. For example, like you have intrusive thoughts that somebody might stab you with a knife, and you just like avoid knives at all cost. That's not like really like a physical thing you're doing, so it's called like pure O. But again, if you notice any intrusive thoughts like this, you should contact a professional if you can, or like not if you can, just like please do, because like it might be very helpful. So pure compulsions, example, doing things like tapping and rearranging things but not noticing what was the cause, not understanding why. You just kind of have to. You don't want to do it, but you feel like you have to fucking tap something like twice, 3 times, 4 times, or like something is like not in order and you don't really care, like it doesn't care like what, but you just have to. Like it's like you have to do this. Like otherwise something might happen, like you don't know why. There's like usually not a cause behind it. And I'm not an expert in this. I'm not an expert in pure obsessions or pure compulsions. I'm not even an expert in OCD. I just have the full package deal. So if you notice anything like this, anything which could resemble this, you should talk to a professional. Nah, man, I want to but I'm just busy. I haven't talked to you in ages, well, so I wouldn't mind catching up. So are you suggesting getting medication and seeking a professional? None of this is science or real help. I'm not helping anybody. I'm just doing a presentation, bro. It's a presentation about my personal experience, bro. Right, so that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny that you mentioned this. It's not... Where's the disclaimer? Right, hold on a second. If there's any confusion of what it is about mental health topics, this stream is about my personal experience. And if you relate to anything I say, you should reach out to a professional. So yes, person in chat. And sorry, if I ignore you in the future, it's just because I got too involved in the presentation. So yeah, and it's not real help, of course. Yeah, it's just my personal experience. So yeah, that's what. So yeah, let's come back. So yeah, so please, because it involves a lot of work to get help with this thing. So let's talk about what is OCD, full package deal. So obsessive compulsive disorder. The first part, the obsessions are intrusive, unwanted thoughts, which keep popping out of nowhere, which cause significant distress. The thoughts can be about anything you care about, no matter what it is. Like, it could be like about basically anything. Like, there's like not really like a limit to like the thoughts you can experience. So the compulsion is like an action which you diffuse this thought, kind of like a thing that you do to feel comfortable once again, as the intrusive thought made you feel uncomfortable, it made you feel anxious, it made you feel worse. And compulsion is like an action which you do which makes you feel just right. Oh, it could be only for a second, because sometimes the problem is that this thing keeps happening over and over again, and it takes up so much of your time, so much of like basically what you do. So basically that's what happens. It is a problem which it like takes away from your life. You feel anxious when you do this thing, you feel better, but later on you still get this intrusive thought. And if your ritual, which is the action compulsion, is also called a ritual that you do, takes up a lot of time. So OCD also has smaller subtypes, yeah. So like hoarding OCD, where you collect things, where you can't let go of something because you feel like if you let go of it, something will happen. Maybe it's like a lucky charm item, etc. Any reason why you can't throw something away could be like, especially if like you feel extremely anxious about it, it could be hoarding OCD. Because like, for example, if I throw this thing away, somebody will die. Or like, if I throw this thing away, I don't know, my fucking protection will disappear, my luck will disappear, anything like that. So perfectionism OCD is when you're trying to be, well, you're trying to make something really good, or like perfect, in other words. You're trying to be as good as you can. Like, for example, you really care about a thing and you try to make it as great as possible, but with every single little detail, with everything like that, and just like overwhelming because you keep like so like scared of mistakes. You just like think about it like all the time, checking, redoing, like trying to like find like perfect, maybe even time to work, etc. And magical thinking OCD often is related to like thoughts becoming real. Reality, you know, like for example, you believe that the thought will turn into reality, especially the negative thoughts. For example, this intrusive thought about somebody dying all of a sudden. You feel like something bad is gonna happen, and you get this compulsion to undo this thing, to like change it to something positive. So that's this magical thinking, often involved with magic. You know, if you believe in magic, or like as a kid been influenced by like such magic, you know, like TV shows, like, you know, films, movies about, like, you could be very susceptible to it, and hence develop some kind of like magic related OCD, which I personally did, surprisingly. Got a little time right now. Oh, how you been? I'm okay. I'm just giving a presentation right now about mental health updates. So uni is currently on a vacation, so yeah, that's great. But yeah, I'm just giving a presentation, so I'm not really like fully interacting with chat right now, Clarissa. So it's more like a presentation kind of style thing. So yeah, it's actually really good, especially if you feel like you might have OCD. Maybe you, like, in the future you can rewatch it and like be like, huh, okay, that's interesting, or something like that. So yeah, basically that's the point, to bring awareness to OCD and other mental health stuff. So yeah, that's the disclaimer. It's my personal experiences. I'm talking about my personal experience and general OCD awareness. We can see way later tonight if you want. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, why not? But yeah, again, I'm gonna continue. I honestly don't care if I go, yeah, it's fine. It just, you know, may improve your life if you get that thing sorted. But yeah, all right. Clarissa, if you want to chat later, we can chat later. No worries. Just DM me. I'm like available a lot, and I only have like 3 days left till I go to Russia, but you know, and I'm not going to be available anymore. But yeah, for like those 3 days I'm kind of available. So yeah, I'll see you later. Yeah, honestly. But yeah, I'm gonna continue a presentation. I'm so sorry if anybody was watching the WOD and like be like, oh my god, when does he get to the point? So yeah, of course, I'm gonna edit out the sections where like I pause and stuff like that. So there's going to be like a highlighted word about it. So yeah, so let me just continue. Yeah, that's fine, we can do it tomorrow, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'll just continue. What like it was such a good transition as well. But yeah, I've been experienced magical thinking since I was a child, and it's oh fuck, I actually rearranged the presentation. That's amazing. So to fully get into my past, I should reveal some information which I've been keeping close to my heart. So a bit about my past, which is very important, because like, you know, the past is probably one of the causes I do have OCD. Well, it develops from like traumatic experiences, stuff like that. I don't really remember when it started exactly, but you know, around 10 years old. But yeah, let's start. So yeah, I will talk about my past later in a more important context, because like I'm not fully ready to talk about it because it's still a rather traumatic. I don't really like it. But yeah, so what I've been studying in Russia in a private school since I was like 0 to 5th year. It's a grade year, whatever. So I sadly been a victim of severe bullying in school. In our first year at zeroth year, technically, I stood up to a bully who was bullying girls. Instead of joining him, I said like, no, that's fucked up, I'm not gonna join you. I had like, you know, moral code, and somehow my morals got me, basically I became an outcast in my class, in my school. Like everybody like ganged up on me basically, and basically even girls joined the bully because he became kind of like a class leader, you know, like he was like very outgoing guy, very like while I've been like not so outgoing, and yeah, I just basically been bullied a lot. I've been called infected it's kind of like a label I've been given, and nobody wanted to be friends with me because it was like a whole very like personal fucked up game where like they labeled me infective. No, and if you like talk to me like for a long period of time, or for example we had like dance classes, and the person who like was like dancing with me been like labeled infected for a day as well, because like they like interacted with me too much. They've been like washing their hands, which is kind of ironic because it's a symptom of OCD. But yeah, I've been washing their hands when they like interact with me by accident. And yeah, basically I've been an outcast for like 3 or like 4 years. I don't really remember. One day I had a crash out, I think a reasonable crash out, and I screamed at my entire class in front of like the person who was in charge, in front of like the teachers who were like kind of like the class leader person, like the but basically our homeschool teacher. Oh fuck, I don't remember how the teacher was named. It was basically like every teacher had a class to represent basically, and in front of that teacher I did this. So they stopped calling me infected, but I barely made any new friends. I think I only had one person who joined like in year 4 or 5, and we like became kind of friends. And yeah, after that I just homeschool teacher. I don't know, it's a homeroom teacher. Yeah, homeroom teacher. Yeah, I moved to France in 2017, and slash COVID, there's like been way less bullying there. I had like 2 friends, but still I've been facing some bullying, not really a lot, but like I just basically been a bit weird kid who hasn't been socializing a lot. So of course I've been like, oh my god, I've been like shy, very shy, I would say. I wasn't swearing. I was like very, very innocent, I would say, back in the day. So yeah, a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, yeah, we can we can fuck him up. We can do a bit of funny things." But yeah, it wasn't bad. So yeah, was barely talking to anybody, and I was diagnosed with dyspraxia, dyslexia, dysgraphia at 14 years old. I always felt like I was a bit behind everybody. I felt like I was like falling behind. So at that time, I really started looking up into things which could be causing it. So I started like quitting bad habits. I started like trying to improve my life through like watching YouTube videos about that stuff. So that was interesting. And yeah, I just basically tried to kind of like become better version of myself, because I've been like, oh my god, I can't be like that, with like fucking I don't even know. I just felt like I've been failing school, bro. Yeah. So during COVID, I had social anxiety therapy, and it was amazing. I returned to school feeling a lot more confident, but still there were issues, and I kept like redoing the therapy because I felt like I didn't do enough, or like I felt like I had setbacks, and without like realizing, I kept doing it over and over again. But the issues are deeper than just anxiety. I still had anxiety, and it was like showing its strength through. And though I was as confident as ever, I wasn't confident enough to trust like people very close, and still was afraid of being bullied again or becoming an outcast. Basically, was scared of losing my friend because I had like him on a pretty high pedestal. So I like wouldn't dare like say things like which I didn't agree about, or like trust him with like things which like matter to me like a lot. Like I didn't. So basically, I've been referred to like as basically a rubber duck, because like like he talked a lot about anything, and I basically just listened because I was like, yeah, that's pretty interesting. But I wasn't brave enough, or I wasn't like good enough. That was like before therapy. Well, that was before therapy. I was like more like a rubber duck, listening to things like a chair, like an absence. And then after therapy, I started being like a lot different from this thing, but still, because it was like a more like a social thing, social construct which I developed, it still was very pronounced. And I was listening to him, or like doing stuff like this, I was still falling back into like this like setbacks where I was like, yeah, not really much of a adding to conversation, stuff like that, which even like when I'm 20 now, like, a lot of people said that, like, especially online, I tend to like talk to people. I tend to like repeat a lot of things, like certain jokes tend to be like repeated, because honestly, I don't feel like opening up a lot, because I don't really want to be bullied. I don't really want to be an outcast. I don't really want to be like fucking like, I just had a lot of fear regarding opening up. So I was like a bit one dimensional, a bit annoying, I would say, because like, yeah, repeating things, or like, people used to say that a lot about me. Maybe it's still an issue, because like, I think that's why. But yeah, I slowly became more independent with like doing my YouTube stuff. It was like one thing I wanted to do after like therapy. I was like, yeah, I want to do YouTube stuff. I want to like learn English better. I want to like do videos. I want to be like do like cool things. I want to start my own SMPs and stuff. And my confidence grew overall, because I kept like therapy up. I kept doing those things. I kept doing practices, and yeah, I grew more from like a very innocent, unconfident, shy boy to like a slightly less unconfident person overall, but still anxiety apparently, like, it was just on the surface. It's just the surface thing. So I finished school with some regrets, moved to UK, and had a hard time finding friends there. It was like a lot of things happened during that time, because like SMP collapse thing happened. So like it was a major setback. It was a lot of stress. As I noticed, stress really tends to bring me down. It tends to bring me back. It tends to pull me back. So yeah, let's continue going. Sorry, my throat hurts a bit now, but it's okay. So we're gonna start actually talking about the thing. As you can see, OCD. I told you about my past, but I didn't talk about OCD yet, because the thing is, I've been masking that shit. I've been so professionally hiding that thing, because I was so scared of being like, called schizophrenic, sent to a mental asylum, something like that. And what happened is over time, it seems like, yeah, OCD, where's OCD? Where's OCD in this tale? But I'm going to tell you where it is exactly. So it started when I was 10, the first ritual which appeared. So what's been going on is, bullying, all that shit in Russia was not great. So I assume that was something which could have been developed from either my past, the Russian bullying, I don't know, from being an outcast, etc. It could have been developed from many things, being like basically I didn't mention it, but when it became uncool to be friends with me, my best friend in my Russian school told me he doesn't want to be friends anymore. He told me for like 2 weeks, because we've been talking too much. He said he just wants to like a little break from me. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. That was weird, but I was like, I don't know, very young, I would say. Like it was like our 0th year as well. So it was like 7 maybe. I don't remember. It started roughly when I was 10. So maybe 7/10. I don't really remember. But yeah. So what this guy did, he told me he doesn't want to be friends anymore for like 2 weeks. And I said, okay. 2 weeks later, I was like, yeah, I want to be friends again. Like, is it cool? He said like, nah, give me more time. And I asked him a few more times. He never became friends with me again. But he really was going for the leader guy, for the guy who was like bullying me like insanely. He was going for this guy. He was going for him. And yeah, they became very good friends and kind of bullied me together. So I felt really abandoned, really low, I would say. And at my house, I basically had extra lessons with dyslexia, dyspraxia. It was not going great, because I was falling behind even in my Russian school. But I was literally a fucking child. I was falling behind. So I had like a lot of extra lessons from like 4 to 8. I only had like 1 hour of free time, Monday to Friday. Very great, very great. So it could have been either or, just being overworked, or like my parents, not really parents, but my tutor being disappointed in me, because we like doing so much work. But it's an improvement, but improvement was not fast enough. It was not great enough. I still was getting the worst grades. Like in the Russian system, there's like 1 to 5. In my school was 2 to 5, and I was getting 2s regardless. So like the lowest of the low was me. I was and my tutor was really sad because she was doing a lot of work. She was getting a lot of money from my parents. So yeah, until we moved to France. So yeah, but there was not much improvements. Yeah. She said that like I would be like a good author because I was like writing a lot of stories when we're like we were doing like what is it called? Basically an exercise where you have to like write something from your own imagination, and they don't really care what you write about. They care about your spelling. It's like an essay, but like more like a come up with your own story essay. I don't remember how they're called, but it doesn't matter. Did you say you're extroverted? You can be extroverted and be social, have social anxiety. There's a difference, which I'm going to talk about later. So the first variation of my OCD came from either of those things. I was watching a lot of Harry Potter. I was really into magic. And yeah, I would say, yeah, said that ages ago about it. Yeah. Sorry, I just, my attention is too bad. But yeah, basically, this thing all started. Yeah, I don't remember where I left off, but yeah, the OCD started with me having my first ritual. Yeah, no worries. But yeah, it started with me having my first ritual. The first variation of it was because I was really into magic, and I don't know why that happened, but I started to believe that I have some sort of energy. Like out of nowhere, there's like some sort of energy, some sort of protection energy, which I possess, something magical, which I have. Like I just started randomly, and the thing is, this thing protects me. It's really good, but there's a little issue. Whenever somebody touches you, they take away this protection from you for themselves. And what you have to do is touch them back to get it back, because otherwise, without this protection, my boy, you're gonna die. So that was my first variation of the ritual. Yeah. So, but as you can see, there is a second variation, and the thing about this whole thing is, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to touch something when they're moving away from you very fast. So there came up a spell called Compulsive Vacuous. I was learning English. It's like a combination of comeback and vacuous was like something magical to me. So whenever I touch somebody, I like in my mind said Compulsive Vacuous, and this force came back to me. So it was great. I've been doing it for a very long time, but basically, people walk away from you. You know, I think I missed a variation, but it doesn't matter. But people walk away from you quite a lot. They run away. You can't really catch up to them. So what happens next? Is like you die. No, that didn't happen. So my brain came up with another spell. Compulsive Vacuous Maximus. So what happens is I touch anything after somebody touched me, and this force comes back to me. So that was great, because now I didn't have to worry when somebody runs away, because I wouldn't have to chase them anymore. It was great. And you know, there's also a time limit where it became a time limit where, for example, it expires, where you can't get it back after it expires. And that's kind of crazy for a 10-year-old to like fucking care about. Like, you know, it's insane. For example, if like there's a plane or anything like that, like which left the ground, or you're in the water, it might expire. So another thing came to my mind. It was Compulsive Vacuous Maximus or something like that, or it was like I said in my mind like a Super Maximus version basically, and it supposedly come back to me even after the time expiration thing. So basically, it was all solved. It was basically I've been living fine, just doing all this like stupid fucking rituals, or just touching the thing. Just touching the thing. And slowly, when I was growing up, I was like 13, maybe. I was already like moved to France. I was still doing this little thingy. It was still happening. But a little realization struck my mind. A little realization about it. I'm crazy. I am insane. Like, that was my fault. When I was like a 13-year-old kid, maybe 12, 13, doesn't matter. And I was terrified because like that realization was there for a while. I was like scared of telling anybody because I'll be sent to a mental asylum. And mental asylums in Russia are not so great. They have a worse reputation. You return worse from them. So I didn't tell anybody because it was embarrassing, first of all. And second of all, I didn't want to appear crazy. And what I did is attempt to resist this whole thing. Yeah. I went for an insane level of anxiety, thinking that I'm gonna die. And, you know, I did not die. I did not die, but basically, I did not die, surprisingly. But basically, what has happened is the ritual has shifted. You know, it became like the whole comebackist thing. I never say it anymore. Maybe super rarely, if it like I ever remember about it, it might like, you know, I have an urge, but like disappeared. It went away. I basically started doing exposure therapy by myself by accident when I was a 13-year-old kid. But yeah, so it's like a form of therapy, but one of them. So the current variation is basically just touching things again. Doesn't matter how long it's been. It doesn't matter what the fuck. It doesn't matter like even if a person run away from me. I just have an urge to touch something again. It just happens. I don't know why. It's either like current variation is so weird. It's basically new gen, where I repeat actions. Like for example, putting up a kettle into air, putting it down, then pick it up again and like pouring water, or like touch something again, or something like basically touching things again because it feels right to do. It feels right to do. And I get intrusive thoughts quite a lot about guessing a deadly illness, or for example, like something bad might happen, and it just like touching this thing makes me feel better. So like, yeah. So this ritual, while it was the first ritual, it still exists, still here, still with me. So that's crazy. So, but that's not all about OCD. That's not even the surface. That's actually the surface of the iceberg. So let's continue. OCD over the years. It's been building up over the years with my health anxiety because I don't know why. Like I think I should not have been given internet access as a child, because I watched so much shit about health. I watched so much shit like, oh my god, like, nah, it's just crazy. It's just fucking insane. Like deadly illnesses, fucking deadly illnesses. You know, like that shit. Yeah, you know, other things which you can be like contaminated with, diseases, like all that stuff, and it's just like such a fear which I have. And yeah, we're gonna talk about the manifestation of that fear a bit later. But yeah, food contamination. That's actually running in my family for a long time, because that's been the highlight of my father's grandfather, which he told me about. But his grandfather was always obsessed about food, and he was only allowing his wife to cook it and nobody else to touch it, or like he wouldn't eat it, even if it's just like he was basically over like obsessive of it. And for me, it's not as bad as his was when he was alive, but it's slightly similar in a way that if somebody drinks from my bottle, I won't be drinking. If somebody like eats with my like fucking knife or fork, I won't be doing that shit because there's like germs and that stuff. And it's been since my childhood. Nobody told me about it. Nobody told me that thing. I was just basically, nah, I'm not gonna be eating after you. What the fuck? even it's like something like shared food. Nah, I just like I cannot, bro. It's very hard for me to do. It's like a whole, like a lot of people don't do it. A lot of people, it's generally a good thing, but yeah, I'm not as extreme about my food, but in a certain way I am, because at 13 I had an X-ray showing fat liver. I was obese, basically. I was overweight for a 13-year-old. I've been, 85 kilograms, maybe 89. I don't really remember now, but it's in that range. I was like not as tall as I am right now. I was still tall, but not as tall. Maybe like 1.75 meters, but yeah, still been really obese for my age. And after an X-ray, because I've been having issues with my stomach, my doctor told me that if I continue eating like that, I will have massive issues in the future and I will die. So, as a person with OCD, if somebody tells you you're gonna die and you have a health anxiety as well already building up, not really great, especially if it's coming from a doctor after an X-ray. So, I started doing a diet. Massive diet shift from like drinking energy drinks, from bringing to school a lot of sweets. I completely stopped eating all sugar altogether. All sugar, everything you might consider unhealthy, I don't eat it. I only I won't say I go as crazy, some people might go more extreme, so it's not like a food disease or whatever, how's it called? There's a thing about food, like a food health disorders, where people like can't eat at all. It was not as bad as me. I still eat meat. I eat like rice. I eat like vegetables. I eat a balanced diet, basically. I eat fruits, but anything which like produced like anything that could be considered unhealthy for like a general person, I don't eat it. There's a lot of like variation on that stuff, but yeah, everybody was like, wow, you have such a strong will. Wow, how are you doing this? Like, my mother was telling it to like all her like friends about me, like, and everybody's like, wow, you're so great. How do you like hold up? And yeah, that's why I was actually proud of myself. I actually was like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, it takes a lot of will. I would say, yeah, true. But, it has a bit of a benefit when you have a mental disorder, a mental illness, OCD, which kind of helps you because, like, yeah, if you eat this unhealthy stuff, you might die. And boom, 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 boom. It kind of makes it easier to quit unhealthy food. So yeah, I don't feel as proud anymore. I just like told my mother, yeah, you've been wondering my secret. That is my secret. That's why. But yeah, that's one thing. But about those mental illnesses, about those not just regular deadly illnesses, I've been developing some protective rituals called related to magical thinking as well. So protective rituals, what can I talk about? So basically, I think about like intrusive thought about me getting something bad, and with a protective ritual, I cancel it. Basically, I do like a little thing. For example, I say, no, surely not. It's one of compulsions in my head, which is like pure O technically, but I still have a lot of physical manifestations. So no, it's one of them. So I say no, surely not. Or I do like time reversing where I undo it. And for example, it's one of those things. I have a whole list of manifestations later down the line. So basically, that's the thing. Talking about deals rituals, which ones are slightly more scarier? It's an intrusive thought which is inspired by demonic deals. Yep, very great, very, very nice, very magical, very, very interesting. So demonic deals, what are they? what do I represent? Deals, rituals, as I call them, to be more less scary. So the deals. The intrusive thought presents you with a deal. It's just like it's my own voice. It just like pops up in my mind. Would you trade your soul for something, something, something? Like, for example, for getting anything, basically. It could be anything. Or like, for example, living like a happy life or something like that. Or anything, basically. Or like, for example, when you're waiting for an order, it could be like, would you trade your soul so it appears in front of you right now? Would you like do anything, kind of thing? And always was with compulsion, because it makes me feel extremely uncomfortable trading my soul. So I usually just say no, surely no. Then like, or deals could be different. It could be about trading something for something. But my gut feeling about this whole deal things, if I accept, then something bad will happen. So I always refuse, no matter what. It could be about trading something for something. It could be about trading protection, which, the whole thing about the protection I talked about, the thing is, it still remains. It's more like luck or something like that, but like the whole protection thingy, it's still like kind of like a part of my OCD, which is like about this whole like thingy where I have this like thing which I don't want to lose, where I still like fear of losing this like magical thingy, which is kind of like illogical, but for some reason it still happens. So yeah, it's even like 1% chance. But what if it's real and you die? Like, I don't want to risk that. So yeah, that's what's happening. And Deal really wants his protection for themselves. For like this intrusive thought really likes to like trade his protection for anything. For like basically gives me some really hard moral choices. Like, for example, like anything. Basically, imagine a hard moral choice for you. For example, like save 10 people or something like that. And I have to like rearrange the deal to make it sound ridiculous. That's another thing about the deals. Rearranging them to make them sound ridiculous if it's about morals. So like it just basically, they're trying to scam me. They're like OCD is a fucking scammer, bro. Like, they're trying to scam me. So yeah. And touching, repeating, etc. I already talked about touching. Basically, when I accidentally touch something, I want to touch it again. When I purposely touch something again, I usually touch it again as well. So touching thing became really a lot. Repeating things for me became clearly a major issue. Especially like at some point it was so bad I had to like take steps in a certain way. I had to walk in a certain way. I had to tap my leg in a certain way. It was insane. And still, sadly, to an extent, I suffer with repeating actions. For example, even like laying down like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, I have to like lay down, then like put my head up, put it down, put it up like 4 times while counting. Counting is quite a bit as well for me. But again, I have this whole manifestation thing in my list. So yeah, it's really about protecting as well myself from deadly illnesses, protecting people, myself as well, from unfortunate futures where something goes wrong, somebody dies. And yeah, I just like, for example, my father as well recently, but it doesn't matter. His health was not great for like and still is not like super awesome, but a bit better, so that's great. But yeah, again, let's continue. We get to that part later. So at 15 years old, I received my first therapy for social anxiety, as I already mentioned. Well, it was really helpful. Still quite a few OCD manifestations remained because like my anxiety, like the whole thing about facing anxiety, and OCD has anxiety. So there's a similar process about how to deal with them. Slightly similar, like acceptance techniques, mindfulness, if you ever heard of it. But yeah, it doesn't matter. It always like treatment is different for everybody. So it's been really helpful to like mitigate some of the effects of OCD as well. But over time, because of stress and my OCD being a very fucking resilient piece of shit. But yeah, it's been intensifying due to stress, and new rituals been popping up throughout the years. So yeah, as either something bad will happen or I'll be called insane. Yeah, that's why I didn't talk about this OCD. I thought I would rather live with it, knowing that I will be protected, that everybody will be protected. And, I would rather take the hit from this thingy, from this like potentially magical thingy, protecting people, protecting myself. I was like really sacrificial. I was like, yeah. And under stress, OCD became stronger. So OCD intensifies with stress, like deadlines, relatives getting sick, like my father. My father really took recently a hit on me. That sounds weird. Okay, he basically told me about his, diagnostics, and that have been getting worse. I'm not gonna get into details, but when I arrived to my family house, to my in France, where they live, like their house, my parents' house. First day, I've been like, oh damn, it's not been a rough first day because he told me about all that stuff, and I was like, my anxiety went through the roof. He also told me about how he would like to be, like his like dying wish as well. So I was like, nah, bro, it's been like his health issues started last summer, which intensified my OCD last summer as well. So it's been like, yeah, it's been getting slightly worse. So I've been paranoid about him. And recently, a few days ago, he received his new diagnostics, and he's doing better. He's doing better. Thank God. Thank God he's doing better. So it's been like, yeah, basically he went to like a trip, and in that trip, he like ate a lot of red meats, drank a lot with because it was his birthday, and it was like basically was not like no our food there, so he kind of had to, and he didn't really care about his health there. So he took diagnosis after that trip. Of course, the analysis are going to be worse, the diagnostics. So currently he's, thank God, doing better, but I'm still anxious about it because he told me it can get really worse really quick. So, but he cares about it. He goes to the doctors. It's all good. Or I'm not gonna say what he has. I'm not gonna even don't even bother. But still sucks, and it's really been affecting me. And he asked me to not tell anybody about what he has or like anything like that. So yeah, I'm kind of like breaking that like NDA a bit, but like not fully, because like it could be a call for a flu. He's like 60 something years old, so a flu is really bad, I'm kidding. But you never know. But yeah, so it's really intensified, and our stress is related factors with like priorities shifting, life changes. The rituals tend to shift as well, like friends falling out, etc. So OCD manifestations throughout the years. As you can see, this list is crazy big. So let me go through it. Maybe I'll remember something as well. So stopping timer at 10 seconds exactly. So what has been this about? So basically I tend to replace bad things, which I like my intrusive thoughts are about, with good things. So when I like have basically I need timers because I meditate. Doesn't matter. So when I do these timers, I have to wait 10 seconds until it's exactly 10 seconds and stop it, because otherwise something bad will happen. And like basically I need to be thinking something good in those 10 seconds. If I'm thinking something bad in those 10 seconds, something bad will happen. Thankfully, this ritual, I've been resisting it for like I would say a while now, and I do still have urges to do this thing. It's crazy. It's still trying to control me, still trying to appear. So if I get more stress now, which I will get in Russia, this thing can easily come back. I'm gonna talk about ones who came back, like 1111 Make-A-Wish. In my school, we had a computer science class, and there was a guy who kept screaming 1111 Make-A-Wish every fucking time I had computer science. I don't know why. It was kind of funny. The teacher did not react to it. I think he was just hoping he would stop, but no, he was not reacting. So it was kind of I think he was in chat earlier. I'm not sure. But yeah, basically, 11:11 make a wish. So every single time I see 11:11 on the clock, I made a good wish. I need to think really good. Really good about life. Really, really good. So I need to be like wishing all the best, wishing like everybody like for health, wishing everybody safety. But if I have a single intrusive thought about something bad happening, wish it will happen to me. Like, it's like it's basically like this belief that it will happen, and I'm like, oh my god. So we're gonna talk about time reversing with a trade-off, which happens whenever something bad accidentally gets confirmed. So this one is more like a culture to this. So yeah, I revert time to undo this something bad happening. Every single time after 11:11, I undo whatever I wished because I'm scared that something bad will happen. So like I revert time. So it happens every time. But in recently, whenever I notice 11:11 on the clock, I get the urge to do it, but I just remind myself, just OCD, please. And I face my anxiety, and every time my anxiety is less and less. So improvement. This one has been beaten, I would say, for now, because still there's an urge to do it, and until there's no urge, I would say it hasn't been fully defeated, but still it's way better. So no, surely no, and yes, surely yeah. So basically these ones are still really prevalent. They happen really fast, like a snap of a finger. It's not really something I can stop or want to stop, because those two really make me feel comfortable. They're more like a ritual which is against intrusive thoughts and like bad things happening. So no, surely no happens when I, for example, think about me getting sick and dying. So I say no, surely no. And if I'm fast enough, without accidentally confirming it in like accidentally like mixing up and saying, yeah, this variation, I don't really want to say it because what if I confirm it accidentally? Sorry. Still not perfect. So yeah, if I say accidentally confirming, I will fastly say no, surely no. And deadly disease should not happen. But if I accidentally do, time reversing happens. So I cancel it. So deals. We're gonna move to deals. But yeah, it's basically to undo, to like say no. Or like, for example, if it's a good thing, I say very rarely that happens, but it did happen before a lot. So yeah, I did have to confirm good things as well, but now I don't have to as much, so that's good. So deals, as I already talked about, trading my soul, trading health, trading people, moral dilemmas, deals. And usually what happens is that you say no, no, and moral deals, dilemmas. It's usually no, surely no to those. And moral deals where, like, for example, I feel like such a bad person for saying no. For example, it gives like such a good option about the perfect world, about everything being perfect, but I still know in the back of my mind, this fucker is a liar. And I still feel anxious for agreeing. So I have to reframe the deal to make it sound less, realistic, less good, or ridiculous, to make it sound like a scam. So I rearrange it in my mind. I reframe the deal to make it sound, yeah. And basically I say no, surely no. Or in a rare case where, for example, the deal is reversed, where, for example, it can be framed differently, I need to say yes. For example, the deal is saying, do you want to keep your protection or give it to somebody else? So in that case, I think, yeah, I got confused. But yeah, basically, sometimes I have to say yes to, like, not do the deal or something like that. So time reversing with a trade-off. That's the main bitch currently. Currently, this bitch, the deals, I need to talk about how often they happen first. They happen relatively often. They happen like maybe, I would say, well, they happen a lot. This pops up a lot. It's more like an intrusive thought. So I think they will keep popping up, so I just have to ignore them, kind of thing. and kind of just like, yeah, don't really interact with them, and they should fade away maybe one day. But yeah, they happen. It's not like the biggest of the issues. Time reversing is a fucking bitch with a trade-off. I managed to defeat this fucker 2 times now. Guess what? Came back. So yeah, currently I do have it. Sadly, I do have it. And what happens is time reversing. For example, you accidentally agreed. For example, you cannot no longer undo this deadly illness and you feel like you're gonna have it. I even experienced some physical symptoms when I think about it, so I don't really want to name any deadly illnesses, so that's why I'm calling that. But you can guess. Imagine what's the most popular deadly illness which comes to mind. Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, Technoblade, that stuff, with his arms. Wow, it was horrible. So yeah, basically that stuff, and time reversing with a trade-off. So what happens is time reversing is like supposedly I returned everything as it was an hour ago with a certain mind shift. For example, I say, please return everything as it was 1 hour ago. But, wait, I say it in Russian, so it's not an exact translation. But yeah, I say like, please return everything as it was 1 hour ago, but with a trade-off. I need to say something lesser. For example, but I get a cold, but something less worse happens. For example, I will hurt my pinky, or I will have an argument with a friend, or I will get blocked by somebody, like somebody I care about, or anything like that in a certain way. So that has happened a lot where I with that trade-off. And the funniest shit is when the trade-off actually happens later down the line, so it kind of becomes scary. So yeah, so time reversing. The thing is, oh my god, hello Red Vapor on YouTube. It's a very, very intense stream today, so I'm not really interacting that much with chat. So yeah, sorry. It's kind of crazy, mental health, So I'm not sure how well you can handle those topics. So yeah, mental health. Sorry, but yeah, let's continue. I appreciate you showing up. Sorry, tomorrow will be a more normal stream, hopefully. So yeah. Time reversing, basically with a trade-off. The main issue with, like, you can say time reversing 1 hour, like, it doesn't take a lot of time. The problem is if you have an intrusive thought during that time reversing, it gets undone. So for example, you confirmed, because at the end of time reversing you have to confirm again. You have to like say, basically that's when I use yes, surely yes to confirm a revert. But if during the reversion of time I accidentally get an intrusive thought about me dying or getting like deadly illness or all that horrible things, it gets confirmed as well. So now 1 hour gets corrupted. It gets corrupted. So what I have to do is revert everything how it was 2 hours ago instead. And it can go on and on and on, but the cap is 24 hours. I usually manage to do it like around 12 hours, but it tend to get up to 22 hours. Usually I skip some hours to like make it faster, go to like a higher number, because when I get more stressed out and I try to control my thoughts without having an intrusive thoughts. So like I go like 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. And even if I have like one single thought about it, like one single bad thing, I have to do it again. But usually, like, if I fail to do it like around 22 hours, I tend to go back to the numbers I missed. So yeah, and number 6 is bad because it's a number of the devil, so I tend to skip that number. And number 9 is kind of like iffy as well. So I really like doing it on number 12 and 22 because they're like odd numbers. So yeah, reversing time, I managed to beat it 2 times. And now it came back because of university deadlines and stress. I once again revert time in my head quite a lot during the day, and I have a trade-off. So usually I try to like stop it with no, surely no, but yeah, it's just been so anxious and because of like 1% chance, what if it actually helps? What if that's the reason my father's like diagnostics got better? Like, it's like the thing in my head. What if I stop and something bad will happen? And usually when I do, something bad usually happens. Like, for example, like there's been, I'm not gonna talk about it like in details, but when I started like resisting my OCD heavily, like something really bad happened. Like twice. So like, yeah, I just don't want to talk about like exactly what thing happens, because one thing could like potentially be like a bit dangerous for my safety. It could potentially I'm not gonna even mention about it. It just like, timings, locations, etc., like this. But yeah, it could be stuff like that. Could be quite dangerous. So something bad happens either in the world or to me personally as well. I'm not gonna talk about that thing which happened, but you can guess what thing I'm talking about if you're watching this. Some people might guess what has happened, especially when I'm trying to resist as hard as I could, and then like something really bad happens, which a bit depressing. So it kind of tends to make things worse. But it's not really people's fault. It's my fucking mind. I didn't even tell anybody that much about OCD before. So yeah, it's quite a lot. So sorry. So touching things twice. As already mentioned, yeah, I do tend to touch things twice because like, oh my god, what if I like touched it and something bad will happen? Something like magical protection, etc. Getting a deadly illness. So like, stop, boom, calmness, compulsion, feels great. And every time I do any of those, I feel great. Yeah, I feel good, at least for a bit. It's like, like a deep breath. It's like I gain this peace I'm searching for. It's like so nice, even if it's for a second. So yeah, repeating the action as well. Repeating actions is so annoying because it usually takes up a lot of time. For example, standing up, sitting back down, standing up, sitting back down. It could like usually goes up to 4 times, around 2 times, 2 to 4. But yeah, it's quite a lot. So self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. I really like writing things. I am a lot of and by touching twice, time reversing, you're repeating currently happens still, and I'm waiting for more therapy currently. So yeah, that's great. Self-sabotage, grammarly, undoing fixes and forcing myself to find the right spelling. So when I was writing the Chicky Picky fan fiction, I was really going fully into it. But when I was spell checking, I tend to like waste a lot of time on that because I wouldn't say Chicky Picky fanfic was that big, so it was like it was not that long to write. But what made it worse and really long is Grammarly, because my compulsion is to undo the Grammarly fix and force myself to find the correct spelling for like searching for spellings for like typing it myself. But when you have dyslexia, dysgraphia, and all those other fucking things, you know how long it may take to fucking find the correct spelling yourself. It's the reasoning is so different every time. OCD is fucking crazy. So it tells me like either like I tell myself I basically dissociate a bit, but OCD tells me to like correct that thing. I need to do it myself, or else I will never learn to spell, or else something bad will happen, or else something bad. And basically, this one I finally managed to beat. Like, I was able to use Grammarly better this time. I still have an urge to do it. So I tend to use our correction methods now, but which work a lot better, in my opinion. But Grammarly tends to be annoying. And for me personally, because of this ritual, not Grammarly's fault. Grammarly is awesome. I just don't pay them yet. If I do, I think it would work better, but no. So video games, self-sabotage in video games. I played Valorant with people you know, and I did tend to like self-sabotage myself quite a bit. So throwing away my gun randomly, doing like a thing, or else we won't win, or else something bad will happen, or else I will get a mental illness. Well, I'm in deadly illness. I already have a mental illness, sorry. So yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Or else something bad will happen, or else maybe that's why I do so much lore. It's because like damn, quite a lot of things. But yeah, it's in lockdown protocol, when I fix something too fast, when it feels like too easy, too fast, I usually like undo the task and redo it, because like I feel like I accidentally accepted the deal. Yeah, because like sometimes it might be like, would you trade everything for this thing to happen? And I feel like when I do it before I actually did the thing, I accidentally say yes, and then I have to do something or do some kind of, you know, bad thing to myself. Like not hurting myself, of course. I mean like undoing that thing in a video game, like doing self-sabotage. Like for example, I accidentally accepted trading everything for that thing. So I undo it, do time reversing. But at the same time, I also have to do like a bigger sacrifice. I throw my phone downwards from not a high to, but still throwing my phone downwards because of fucking OCD is crazy. Or disconnecting, like those two things. Disconnected the credit card from a watch. That happened once. I was very anxious about my father's health, and I did it to like save him, to like to like ensure his health is good, and I disconnected that like credit card from the watch. So what happened is I couldn't reconnect it later words. I had to contact the bank. It was a major pain in the ass, and for 6 months, I already gave up. I stopped using my watch to pay with things, and boom, I tried it one day and it works. So sometimes OCD really makes me fucking pain in the ass, but regardless, let's continue. Checking in university work over and over again till submission. That's more perfectionism, but yes, I do have perfectionism OCD as well. So I keep rechecking university work with like fucking spelling, something missing. I will be checking all over again, checking and checking until I fucking think it's perfect, or the time is so low. But once I submitted 20 minutes before, I think it was 50 minutes before. The problem is, I kept checking until the deadline runs out, even after submission. And I noticed one little thing, and I resubmitted the whole thing. Insane? Yeah. It took I was maybe 10 minutes until it was basically over. And I still resubmitted. It's insane. How deep this thing can go. So yeah. Counting before a certain action. That happened before. Some people in the past may confirm is that I do tend to count randomly in Russian sometimes. That used to happen a lot more. Even before streaming, I used to tend to count. This one is fully gone. It's no longer a thing before I start to stream. But when I went to a bathroom, for example, I need to count 50 times to 50 until I can do a certain action, like for example shitting. I'm sorry for those details, but yeah, that's true. And thankfully I was able to start slowly beating that. This it's still, I have an urge to do it, but it's less worse now because it's been not nice. Counting to 50 so fast is it's a bit of a crazy thing. So yeah, counting to 50 before it still happens. Counting still happens a lot, but not as intrusive. So I wouldn't say it's fully been destroyed, but some aspects change. So being scared of contamination, that's my whole thing. I am so fucking diabolical. I don't know why. It's I really fucking oh my god, radiation as well. I thought I was being it was a normal fear, but apparently it's not really normal to be scared of radiation a lot more than our people. For example, here in my house, I still have radiation fear, or bodily fluids or etc., contracting some diseases, you know me, etc., 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 contamination. And I tend to wash my hands after I return to my house quite a lot, more than required. So yeah, after outside washing my hands and doesn't feel right, so I rewash them again. And now the big thing, the big reveal, maybe. I wouldn't really say I'm atheistic, but I wouldn't really say I'm much like, you know, fully into a church thing, into Christianity. I more believe in God, but like the whole church thing, like not really my thing. I don't really go to churches, but I have a cross on my chest which I wear because at like when I was 6, I had a dream that I have to wear this thingy or else I will be taken by aliens or something like that. So yeah, I really got attached to my like cross on my neck, so I keep wearing it. So as I believe in God, as you can see, yeah, some kind of force above us, some kind of afterlife or etc. I do like sometimes, of course, there's, you know, always moments, but you know, so as I believe in God, of course, OCD tends to be religious as well. So I do have a custom prayer when I accidentally touch the cross or when I say the words out loud. For example, it's in Russian, so I can say it calmly in English. But yeah, the words are, I hope everything will be alright. It's my prayer, my custom prayer. So original, I know. But yeah, whenever I touch the cross, I have to say it in my mind. Yeah. I don't know why, but I have to say it. Otherwise, it will detect my last thought and God will be upset or offended. And I do have a fear of accidentally offending God or a dead person. And I apologize every time and do time reversing to like, you know, apology is good when they accidentally offended God, but time reversing just extra safety, you know? 1% chance. What if? What if? So yeah, it still happens. I cannot even say anything about right now. So yeah, I do have a fear of offending God or an accidentally dead relative, or for example, if I think something bad, it's like, oh no, intrusive thought. Why? No. Now I have to do this whole thing. So yeah, and I'm really sorry. But to be honest, if God, you know, exists, I don't know, people debate about it. So what, like, if he created everything regarding OCD, so technically, logically, he knows that the thoughts can be intrusive. So like, or he or she or they them, the God doesn't matter. So the God shouldn't really take offense, right? Like, you know, they know about it. And they should know. So exactly. But I still have fear. What if 1%? Who knows? So yeah, logic and OCD really don't match very well. So yeah, counting to 50 before going to the bathroom, as we already discussed, that was a crazy ritual which I had to go through, which was insane. If I shit myself before counting to 50, something bad would happen. And yeah, basically I had to like do time reversing and stuff like that. So yeah. And another thing, I think it's more about generalized anxiety disorder, more when I think about it now, but whatever. Fear of sun exposure due to illness related to that. You know, the illness related to sun exposure. Yeah, I do fear it a lot. So I tend to really avoid, I tend to cover up, as you can see my face. I don't really cover up as much when I go outside, but I apply a lot of sunscreen. I don't really go outside that much to avoid sun exposure. I don't really go outside to avoid, like, you know, because I feel social anxiety. I would say it's like even to an extent of social phobia, I would say, currently. I had social phobia before, but I don't think it's as bad now, but still. So fear of throwing away things as they may be a source of protection. Yeah, I look at something so stupid as like an egg holder, or for example, like the fruit basket, and I'm like, what if all this time this thing was the source of my protection, and I'm gonna throw it away right now, and boom, dead, gone. Very bad things will happen, and then I die. So not really good. So I tend to hoard a lot of stuff. My freezer looks horrible until my mother comes up and like, what the fuck? She like visits and say like, why don't you throw away shit? why don't you throw away stuff? And I'm like, yeah, but like, extra stuff, like might be useful. It might be useful to store things, might be useful for extra things. So yeah, that's great thing. No, it's a hoarding OCD apparently, because you fear for throwing away a thing. So yeah. Whew. Yeah. And as I already mentioned, 1% chance what if I would have beaten OCD if I did not believe in it. Sadly, at this point, many of these rituals would be fully gone. But there is a 1% chance. What if it's true? What if it happens? What if protection is real? What if? Like, just like this little stress. And boom, what happens? Like, when I'm like fully on my best, on my like high horse, when I'm like doing my like best, I tend to like slowly, I would say it's like becomes from an 8 to like a 7, because I more easily can face the anxiety of rituals because there are like no outer threats. But then there's like outer threats, outer fears, like one chance, what if, it tends to, really intensify that fear, and I tend to fall back into the rituals, especially if there's an urge to still do it. If I fall to the urge of doing it, time reversing. Boom, it's back now, once again. 3 times now, or 2 times. Well, it's a third kind of comeback, I would say. So yeah, it's a third return, so that's crazy. Now, we're gonna talk about the mirror ritual. The mirror ritual was the top dog. My main, I would say, OCD representation. My main in the past, I would say, especially during the university, as it's the ritual which has developed in my like when I was 19. Developing rituals when you're 19 is kind of crazy for OCD. I don't know, it's just like, especially when you've been having it since you're 10, is, for me it feels like, it's definitely serious. Like, it's a moderate to severe range, that's kind of thing. But I like, yeah, moderate to severe. So the mirror ritual, whew, yeah, hey, this one is crazy. Basically, when I was walking to my kitchen from my room in my UK flat, in my uni apartment thingy, there's a mirror. And I always thought it was a mirror left from a previous owner, from a previous house owner. And basically, I have a fear that is cursed. And what do cursed mirrors do? They trap you in the mirror fucking dimension. And what if 1% chance it's true? So what I had to do, when I pass through a mirror, like, when I pass through, like, to the kitchen, I have to wave my hand or my leg or anything, basically show myself again to undo it. Basically, one, I triggered it. Second time I showed myself, I untriggered it. So I did it a lot, especially during the university deadlines, because it developed during the university deadlines because of stress. So basically, I've been doing it a lot. And after I submitted university deadlines, I kept doing it. And then I stopped because I got everything. I got my grades back, and I started resisting again. I was like, yeah, it's no longer supposed to help me. I got my grades, and I can't try to resist now. I feel way more comfortable. I feel better, so I will try to resist. And yeah, through anxiety, I was able to resist. But still, every time I walk next to that mirror in UK, not anywhere else. I'm currently like far away from that place, and yeah, crazy thing is, I still have an urge, and I have to remind myself, no. It's like a hard no for me, but it still happens. So currently, I would say the main bitch is like repeating actions, touching things twice, and time reversing. Because when I was able to beat time reversing, those two things were like, oh, deals were like, oh, every time I cut one off, the hour one really tends to like show itself more. It's like OCD has like a certain amount of RAM in my head. Like, how Nintendo Switch has like 2 RAM to run like software, like game chat or whatever. So basically, imagine OCD has a certain amount of resources in your brain, in my brain. So what it does, it takes those resources and puts it into its primary like contester. It runs those as well, but like like there's like always like this like primary guy, primary like main target. Not always, but for me it was like this. Currently it's not like this anymore. But it used to be like this main guy and then like backup guys. And when you cut off the main guy, what happens? Like time reversing becomes the main guy. And when I had to fight time reversing because I used to repeat it like 100 times a day, now it's way less. But it was like I was constantly doing in my mind during conversation, doing everything. I was time reversing, protecting myself, protecting others from those intrusive thoughts. I didn't even mention much intrusive thoughts about people dying, people being like hurt, people like, you know, not because of me, but because of like just I feel like I sensed something bad was happening. Like this intrusive thought told me like, yeah, like the bad future, and you have to cancel, you have to save your parents, yourself, your friends, etc., etc., the world, etc. So I've been like kind of like, you know, like it's very funny, I know, but it's like kind of training up you to be like kind of like this protective superhero, like a psychic based superhero where you protect people. So that's how it feels. That's how it feels. It's like like the silent work you do to protect people, and it's a mental illness. It doesn't work. You're being scammed. Your time is being wasted. OCD is controlling you, and yeah, it's so hard to like resist that because like one chance, what if, and what if it happens, and you'll be the one to blame. You know, like you'll be like not because you caused it. I don't believe that, but you know, actually a kind of funny thing. But yeah, I will talk about later. I don't believe that like I caused it, but like I just had like this sensation of a future that like it could happen, and I need to prevent this bad future from happening. And boom, you do, and you feel better about yourself. So yeah, that's the thing. So OCD versus logic. Jim, what did I want to say about? Yeah, basically, yeah. Well, it's written down later. OCD, I think. OCD versus logic. Yeah, usually, for example, in the gym, I had to take the furthest dumbbells, while I could take the shortest distance dumbbells to me, or take them in a certain way, which makes me feel like look dumb, like because of OCD. Because if I don't, like something bad will happen. Or like naming files on computer. Usually, I want to name it something sensible, but like OCD is like no, like, you know, no logic. Yeah, just name it like boom, you know, and it will be great. So yeah, or something bad might happen. So exactly, you feel like this protector, I would say, protector of yourself mostly. I would say it's mostly related to me, but yeah, our people as well a lot. Yeah, so that's how it feels. And like, oh yeah, I did an experiment with magical thinking. I don't think I've written it down, I forgot. But I did an experiment where I repeated a word 3 times. I said deadly illness 3 times. The full name of a deadly illness which I'm scared of. I named it 3 times out loud to test if I like actually have magical thinking. It was before diagnosis. So I was like, no, it's like magical intuition or whatever it is. It's like I just feel like this weird sense of something bad might happen to me, my friends, my family, etc. And I didn't do it. I don't cause it. So basically, I said the deadly illness name 3 times. And what do you think happened? I nearly made a custom ritual. I immediately felt the urge to say health 3 times. And when I said good health 3 times as well. So I said health 3 times when I said good health to undo the effect of my, what I said. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I definitely have magical thinking where I believe the thoughts become reality. For example, anybody could, at any point get an intrusive thought about something bad that might happen. And they just move on. They just say, whatever. It might happen, it might not. But I don't. I tend to do a thing to fucking move over. People as well with anxiety disorder might like keep worrying about the thing. But yeah, with OCD, you kind of have like this compulsion where you do a thing and it stops. Like, but usually like anxiety and OCD go hand in hand. So like me with generalized anxiety disorder. So there's some things which you worry about more on a constant basis without a ritual, and some things which you have a ritual for, and it could be even very close things, because the mind, we're kind of like in the same minds. We're like two apps running at the same time on your computer, on your brain, so they kind of like clash together. Like, kind of insane, I know, but it is what it is. They overlap a lot. They interact, so one could enhance the other. Like my OCD, for example, I had a strong belief that if I fix my social anxiety fully, something way worse will happen. For example, anything like any damage, any worse problems, etc., etc., etc. It's like being stuck on level 1, scared of level 2 opponents, kind of thing. Basically, like my OCD was protecting my anxiety. It's like those mental illnesses protect each other. It's like we fucking work in a team to control your mind. So yeah, that's crazy. That's insane. Sorry. Sorry, I just miss streaming so much. Generally, I feel a little better right now when I'm streaming. Like, I don't know, it's just like this. I do enjoy it a lot, and it's like one of like few things I do. Yeah, enjoy. So yeah, touching the hot water, slash something hot again, or something bad will happen. Yes, that happens to me quite a lot. Whenever I accidentally like start by hot water, and I like touch it, and then my brain is like, touch it again, or something bad will happen, and I'm like, nah, and I do it really fast, so it doesn't really hurt that bad, but still. And dropping phone, I managed to beat that one and disconnected the credit card as well. But yeah, this self-sabotage is kind of crazy, as well as self-sabotage with deadlines is worse, because you tend to like, yeah, just wait a bit, like it's more like about like before submission. I get this feeling, yeah, you just have to wait, like, wait a minute, wait a few minutes. You can't submit right now, you have to check again, they're all really intertwining, really interconnecting, really a whole, I would say, mind of interconnecting things. It's kind of interesting. So let's go through this epic list. So as you can see, I would rate myself, it's like 7, like when I'm not like super stressed, but currently it's an 8 because of stresses and etc. So yeah, currently I'm more like on 8 scale of OCD out of 10. It can be worse. As you can see, my compulsions are rather about protecting myself, are rather about like keeping others safe, keeping myself safe. But yeah. 1 second. Sorry, I just thought somebody knocked on my door, etc. So, what's been going on with those things? What I circled is what I have, and what I didn't circle is what I don't have, or like what I circled, I could have it to like a very small extent. So let's go. Contamination obsessions. Fear of coming into contact with perceived contaminated substances, things such as body fluids. I do have that fear. Blood as well, urine, feces, etc. Doesn't matter. Germs, diseases. Well, probably more blood, but like, yeah, I do have fear of contaminating those things. Yeah, environmental contamination. Like, I thought it was funny at first. But yeah, I do have a strong fear of asbestos, especially after I learned about it. Every time I go to a house, I think about it. Like, it's crazy. Every time I think about asbestos, mold, radiation, I think about a lot as well. So this thing, like, it really hit home for me. And I was like, wow, I do think about that a lot. Dirt, yes. I really hate dirt. I really avoid it as much as I can. It's like, oh, so much. Oh. But yeah, usually like a shower really helps with that. It's like more like a compulsion, I guess. But yeah, radiation is like avoiding certain places. Asbestos as well. Yeah, germs, diseases. I always like try to distance myself from people who are sneezing and stuff like that. But my social anxiety is sometimes like, sorry, it will look very bad, if you walk away, it will be awkward. So yeah, I tend to stay. Usually smoke, cigarettes, etc. is really annoying. So yeah, as well, social anxiety stuff, but it's bad for you, you should avoid it. So violent obsessions, thank God I don't have any of those. I don't, like, that's why it can be 9 or 10. You can be violent. You with OCD, you can like have those obsessions where you might accidentally hurt somebody, like where you like fear that you will lose control. I don't have that. You might have it. It's not the end of the world. You're never gonna do it, but you have a fear that you will. So if you do have it, you're not schizophrenic. If it's like more like an obsession, you're not schizophrenic. You should seek professional help. So responsibility obsessions. Fear of being responsible for something terrible happening. I do have it. I do have it. In a way that if I don't do like a ritual, if I refuse it, there's like 1% chance. What if it happens? So yeah, I do have this to an extent. I do have this to an extent where if I don't do the ritual, or for example, fear of harming others because of not being careful enough, I do have that a lot. For example, when I what did I do? I threw away something. No, it was like basically, but imagine, I was walking from a shop to my house, and I had basically a piece of paper. Was it called a bill? A bill, yeah, it's called a bill check, and it was in my hand. And basically, what happened is it flew away, and I felt so bad because I was fearing that a dog might eat it and die, or etc. Or for example, if I lose something, or like if I like if somebody like, hold on a second. But yeah, I just hear screaming in the background. 1 second. So basically, continue on from fear of harming others because of not being careful enough. Basically, yes, I do have that. Like, for example, if I place something on a table and it falls onto somebody's head, for example, if somebody like my mom was going to like clean that, or she wants to like do something and it accidentally hurts somebody. If I left, like, for example, something on the floor, that's why I always pick up something from like the floor in my house. Like, what if somebody falls and trips on this thing? Like, I do have that. So yeah. And talking about perfectionism related obsessions, I do have intense perfectionism OCD, sadly, as well. So I don't have this about evenness or exactness or excessive concern if I need to know or remember. I think I do have that, to be honest. I do have that. Sorry, I didn't circle, but yeah, I do have, like, to an extent, like not a lot, so I didn't circle. But fear of losing or forgetting important information when throwing something out, yeah, I do have it. Fear of losing protection. And excessive concern with performing tasks perfectly or correctly. Yes, I do have that as well. With when I have like a vision to do. For example, I have a project, which I'm going to talk about later. But yes, I do have later. I do have it. And fear of making mistakes. That's one of the biggest fears, I would say. And yeah, I do. I'm really scared of failure. So yeah, and I did fail because of that quite a lot, because of fear of failure, ironically. But yeah, you can have sexual obsessions. I don't have any of those, thank God. And if you do, that's why I said mine is like 7/8. Those are like 9/10. Those are like, you feel like a horrible person, especially like with OCD, when you don't want to do it, but like it's like an intrusive thoughts. And again, if you have those, it's really serious. You should really talk to a professional. You should seek help immediately, right now. Yeah. So please, as soon as you can, if you relate to any of those written down, it's a OCD. It's obsessive compulsive disorder, and you won't be in prison. You won't be like, you know, I'm not, you will never do what you think about if it's an OCD. So you won't be imprisoned if you like talk to a professional about it. You'll just be, you'll just go through exposure therapy, where or other means of therapy, medications, which will like make you feel better as a person, and you'll stop. As far as I'm aware, I don't have that, so I don't know, but yes, you do need to speak to a professional, and they will help you. It's not going to be harmful to you. And if you fear it because of any of our compulsions, well, it's really going to change your life, because like if you have like a lot of this, like me, like talking to a professional really is going to change your life. So religious/moral obsessions. Yeah. Fear of offending God, damnation, and then concern about blasphemy. I'm not sure what blasphemy is, but I do have fear of offending God. Damnation, etc. Yes, but like being a bad person, etc. Excessive concern with wrong morality. Maybe. Oh, yikes! I kind of want to skip that part. I was circling for myself, but yeah. I guess you know now. I guess you know. I was wondering why, and yeah, it kind of makes a lot of sense when you have OCD, and then you're like, That's why I prefer to be unlabeled, because it's like sometimes, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe not. That kind of thing. It's like, I wasn't planning to talk about this. I was searching for myself. I was like, oh yeah, which one match on this website? I was like, yeah, a lot of do. And I was like, I thought I was like gonna like, edit this one out, but whatever, because I didn't want to talk about my sexual orientation or whatever. It's because I feel like, I don't really feel decisive about it. I don't really want to bring attention to it, but since it was circled, whatever, I guess, yeah. I already told a lot of people I'm unlabeled because of like, that's the reason, because like, maybe I sing one way, maybe I sing another way, Yeah. Who knows? We will never know. Oh my god. This is so embarrassing. I feel so socially awkward right now. But okay. Other options. Relationship related options. Example, excessive concern about where one person is one, the partner's flaws and the qualities. That's the thing. I never dated anybody just because of this thing. Just because, I'm not sure if a person is one. And I really have this obsession where I want to like date somebody and like never break up with them, like like just get married, date to marry, kind of thing. I think it's not great for me because I don't get any experience, or I don't think anybody would want to date me in the first place. So that's the thing. So yeah, the one about I do kind of, I even mentioned to the psychiatrist who I talked about, and he was like, yeah, I wrote a whole fucking document to him and sent it to him, and talked about how I never date anyone because I was like, yeah, maybe I'm just like, you will never find one unless you try to find somebody. So yeah, that's kind of a thing. So yeah, I was reading it and I was like, yeah, I think that matches me a lot. So this type of obsession can center around romantic partner, relatives, obsessions about death, existence, yeah. I imagine afterlife a lot. What could be after death, the universe, and one's roles in the grand scheme. Yep, I do tend to, the lore, guys, because maybe that's why there's a lot of lore about interesting things, because I tend to think about the afterlife, and it's very intrusive, I would say. Sometimes when you think about it in like a story perspective, it's so nice, it's so cool. I even recently made a whole like for university, like a whole story like related to like the afterlife. It was very nice, it was awesome. I can't really show it because sorry, but I really enjoyed writing it. It was like what it was called, a novel, like interactive novel where you make your own choices. Maybe one day I'll release it like officially. but currently I can't show it. NDA. No, not the full NDA. I can't talk about it. But yeah, I'm not gonna show it. But yeah, so I turn my obsessions usually into those kind of things. So real event, false memory, obsession, excessive concern about things that happened in the past and what impacts they may have had. As you know me, the people told me a lot to move on from the past, and I do have a struggle of moving on from the past because I care a lot about it, and suppressing it, well, it just feels bad, to an extent. Not to an extent, it feels awful. I feel like it enhances my fucking like mental health becomes worse because of like suppressing my past and not talking about it, to anybody basically. I think a lot of people can relate. Imagine like breaking up with somebody and your relationship was a secret to everybody and you can't talk about it. This is kind of like the whole thing about the past as well, where like you really want to talk to somebody about it, but a lot of people just say like, yeah, it was horrible, the past was bad, let's just forget it, let's just like, but like, for example, like I felt, like it was like something I really liked and like was like one of my like things I wanted to like keep doing and want to do, but it fell apart and it was like really sad. So yeah, I do have a tendency to really, really miss the past, really obsessive, like really think how like different turns, like how like, for example, maybe I should have like, did something different way back then and maybe I would be like in a better place right now. Maybe not, who knows, maybe that's the best path, maybe not, I don't know. So but currently I would say it's a bit of a interesting. I'm 20 now, don't really have much friends, so yeah, it kind of sucks. I'm going to Russia soon, I just remembered, and I think if I die, not many people are going to be upset. So especially like my friends, whatever, like like only like few people, so it's okay. Maybe not having many friends is good because less people are going to be upset, so that's good. So sorry, I didn't change that title. But yeah, common compulsions in OCD. Washing hands excessively or in a certain way. I do that. I wash them quite a bit. After I come back from outside, I feel like I wash my hands very well. When I like start doing things, I feel like the outside is still on my hands. It's like this feeling that they still feel dirty. I do it again. And sometimes I even apply hand sanitizer. And it's annoying. I can't even like wash them 5 times without realizing. So yeah, I was fishing. Yeah, I was thinking I really don't do that like regular OCD stuff with washing hands and stuff like that. Apparently I do. Like, when I started really tracking myself, I was like, yeah, I think I do. Excessive showering, bathing, toothbrushing, grooming, or toilet routines. So yeah, another thing about me is I take long showers. I really feel like not clean enough. Every time I wake up, I feel so dirty, to be honest. I feel so bad. And until I have a shower, like especially like a long warm shower, it feels so nice. It feels like so good. Like, I do tend to have excessive showering, yeah. And yeah, it does make me feel clean. But even right now, I don't feel clean. Because like I took a shower at like 5 p.m. What the fuck? I don't know why. I want to take a shower again, but I know it's probably a compulsion, so no. Checking that you will not harm others, you will not harm yourself, nothing terrible happened. I don't really check that nothing terrible happened. I don't really do that checking thing, but I do check like certain parts of my body. I touch my arm, for example, if it's very any pain. So if I thought about like a certain deadly illness. So you didn't make a mistake, but perfectionism, I check. Some parts of your like physical appearance, condition, or body. So yeah, I do have checking things. I do check my body quite a lot for like any signs of bad things. So yeah. Routine activities, example, going out or outdoors, getting up or down from chairs. That happens a lot, as already mentioned. Body movements, example, tapping, touching, blinking. For example, my hands, my legs, yeah, they do it. Activities, multiples, example, doing task 3 times because there is a good, right, safe. Yeah, Exactly. A safe number. A safe number like 4 times, 2 times, 6 times, 12 times, that thing. So yeah, mental compulsions. So yeah. Mental reaffirmance to prevent harm from yourself to prevent terrible consequences. That does not happen to me. Praying to prevent harm to oneself to prevent terrible consequences. I technically do it because I have a cross which I pray with, I guess, when I say I hope everything will be alright. So yeah, technically yes, but not really how they phrase it here. So counting while performing tasks to end on a good, right, or safe number. Yep, that happens. Yeah, me shitting or just repeating or etc. So canceling or undoing, example, replacing bad words with a good word to cancel it out. Yep, I do that with my time reversing. I do that with no, etc. Like making a wish, etc., etc. Yes, and avoiding situation that might trigger your obsessions. I do that quite a lot. I tend to like not even like I tend to like stop saying certain words, like calling deadly illness does not trigger my OCD, but a certain word does in a lot of cases because it makes me think, imagine, oh, it's gross. It even currently like, oh, I feel bad. I feel physical symptoms, which is more like GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, GAD. But yeah, it's like, oh, I don't know why I mentioned it, but yeah, I do tend to avoid saying certain things, seeing certain things, hanging out in certain places. For example, I don't think I mentioned it in here, but it's more paranoia of being like attacked, paranoia of being like spiked. For example, your food being contaminated, etc. So I tend to avoid eating to restaurants a lot if I can. I tend to like avoid going outside a lot. So if like people like from like who know me from university are watching this right now, like what the fuck? Like yeah, that's why I don't hang out a lot. I do have those kind of things. But yeah, about OCD perfectionism. This is a whole different topic. So let me drink. I just left some notes for myself. So we're gonna talk about my personal projects, Kingdoms SMP, and how that vision has failed, and procrastination to avoid failure. And we're also going to talk about university projects, perfectionism, and the magic of anxiety. So let's start with my personal projects. As you know me, if you've been here for a while, overlook SMP. Sorry, I really had to mention it here, but yeah, SMP before in between SMP. I've been really active. I've been really doing a lot of things for it. I've been doing a lot of lore. And for in between SMP, it fell off. What happened? What could the reason be? What could the reason be? That's a very interesting question. You can think for yourself and try to answer it, but I will answer it right now. So you can pause it, the video, or write in chat or whatever, what the reason you think was or is. So, look, Kingdoms SMP and in between SMP, I had a vision for the ending of Overlook SMP, which I really wanted to happen because it set up the Kingdoms SMP very well, but because Overlook SMP was cut short because of the events which happened, and people didn't really, a whole new owner thing didn't really stick, and people were like leaving Overlook, like basically how rats run away from a shipwreck, they've been running away from it like it was a plague from Overlook SMP. So basically, what happens is Overlook fell apart. I was really upset. I felt really, really bad about it. But yeah, that happens. I created a new SMP, in between SMP, and created extra lore, which I really liked. I think it was even better than the original plan. So, which would tie up the ending, which would lead to a Kingdoms SMP. And I teased Kingdoms SMP way too early. A lot of people were demanding it. And I would say at a certain point, I would say pretty early on, they started crossing the line where it started being bullying instead of demanding. But, whatever. And yeah, my mental health was deteriorating very badly then. And, me with my history of bullying in school, in Russian school, so it even was worse. So, but again, my main issue was this guy, OCD, perfectionism. You know why? Because after Overlook collapsed, before Overlook collapsed, I always had this mantra I had to repeat to myself. It is either perfect or it exists. Otherwise, I won't be able to do anything. As well as in Overlook SMP, there were deadlines out of my control because I was not the only person. And yeah, some people wanted the server to end at certain points, which really sped up a lot of things for me because I was like, either this thing lore happens in whatever way I can do it, or it will never happen because basically it's going to be an hour server and the whole plotline will get abandoned. And I couldn't, it was basically my anxiety started to kick in, where I had to, do things fast, do things with precision. And, the thing is, I just worked a lot, yeah, and managed to do what I think was good. And I really enjoyed the process, and I really enjoyed working on it. The thing is, with In Between SMP, I was fully in charge of when the server ends, when the server starts, when the lore. And a lot of people were relying on me to make this lore, to do the thing, and I really wanted it to be good. I call it good, but in reality, I was aiming for perfection. I was aiming it to be so much better than Overlook SMP that nobody would have a doubt in their mind that Mishrop was worse by any point, or that Overlook SMP collapse had any effect on the quality. And as you all know, because of my change, into trying to make it as good as possible, trying everything to be perfect, I started to procrastinate a lot because it seems like too much work and I have a lot of time, and I was really scared. What if it doesn't work out? What if a vision doesn't work? What if, for example, people don't like it? What if somebody is gonna don't do the thing because acting, it's been so silly, to be honest. Acting was always so silly, but I really want to cover some more serious things. And there's been a band of memes going around with brain rot, and I was really scared that thing is gonna be in the lore and stuff like that. And I was really scared it's gonna go so sideways and not follow my perfect vision, so as I would call it now. So I was really procrastinating. I was really scared that something will go wrong, that etc, etc, etc. And I wanted to just unwind with friends, play some games, do some our silly shit. But I've been constantly reminded about Kingdoms SMP. And for Kingdoms SMP, just being Mishrop, you gotta work, you gotta do this. And I started slowly just, oh my god, it's been too much. It's been too much for me. It maybe it wasn't even bad, I'm not calling anybody a horrible person for doing this. But I wanted a server to play on, and In Between was kind of getting old, and not a lot of things was going on. So yeah, it's perfectly understandable why people were pushing for Kingdoms SMP, and really want me to work, because I was basically the only one working on it, and I was feeling so overwhelmed. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore. And yeah, because I couldn't just start it, because I had the perfect vision, the perfect In Between ending, which would set up Kingdoms SMP. Because there's a fucking side plot which I had an idea for, which would drive a lot of plot lines, and I was damn, so great, so great, so awesome, so amazing. But no, I couldn't just start it. And I needed actors for 2 actors exactly. One, the king, because the Kingdoms SMP will need a king who will be an actor, in character. We'll have a king character. Of course, we could have customized it to a degree, but still, I had this perfect vision, how the lore and stuff. And the child of a king, princess, prince, doesn't matter, just the child of a king. I really needed those 2 actors, and I didn't really find a lot of volunteers. A lot of people didn't want to do it, and I didn't want to like force anybody into this role. Whoever, like, I had like, you know, a vision of who it could be, who could do a good job. And I knew some people who want to do it. No offense, but they usually really had a lot of things going on in their life, like a lot of side activities, a lot of things. And I just knew I would need a king quite a bit. Otherwise, the lore is just gonna stop. That's why I want to do like a month, you know, like I want to like do like a 2-month thingy where like the whole story will get covered in 1 or 2 months. The Kingdoms SMP was supposed to last like 1 to 2 months in my perfect vision, with those storylines, plot lines, and everything like that, leading to yet another SMP. I had a lot of plans. I had a lot of plans for SMPs, but now, as you can see, due to my procrastination and trying to avoid failure and trying like this avoiding thing, because the map as well, I paid a lot of money for it and it was not up to my standard. I felt like, yeah, I need a better map, I need a better thing, I need to become better at Blender, I need to be better, I need to be like a better manager, I need to like be less soft, because like sometimes I'm like, you know, I feel like too soft on people, because like sometimes like people just break rules and they like offend me and stuff like that, and just like I swallow that shit up, because like I don't want to seem like rude, I don't want to be like seen as mean, but sometimes it's just like, damn, like people cross lines, you know, like sometimes you just have to, because otherwise it's gonna like overflow at some point and you're just gonna like, you know, talk shit about a lot of people, especially like if it's like something you can't no longer hold, you know, in yourself, just like I did in my school when I was like around, like when I was like before I left to France, basically. Like because they've been like fucking annoying through the years and been bullying me like as hell, like in my Russian school. So yeah, I really need to have better boundaries. I really need to like be like better producer, basically, as the whole thing, to like carry on my vision. And I did not believe in myself. I had zero belief that I can deliver. That's the thing, the whole imposter syndrome thing, which I do have. I even right now, like at the university, I have no idea how I fucking did everything. Like it's the imposter syndrome is crazy. So I tend to procrastinate because I was so scared, because I will fail. And the main issue with my failure, it's not even the fail itself, it's that I will be disappointed in myself and my dreams will be ruined. Because it was my dream, basically, to do this SMP as I imagined. It was like, wow, it was something so great I want to do. I still do to a degree, but not anymore. But yeah, it was my epic dream, which I wanted to like maintain. I want to like keep it going. I want to keep it alive, because if I fail, then it's done for, and I'll be sad. I'll be depressed. And that failure, like of me being a failure, I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to like face my dreams crumbling in front of my eyes. So that's why I tend to procrastinate, because it was an intense fear, because I was like, you know, basically it's like, you know, I lose like the purpose of my life, basically, if it fails. So yeah, at that point was basically my purpose of life. So yeah, it was kind of fucked up. So yeah, with the map, with that shit, I did fucking like, was really disappointed in the map. I want to improve it myself with our people. And yeah, but still, now because of my fear of failure, because of my perfectionism, with my perfect vision, I did not say fuck it with ball. I basically kept delaying it, and now it will never happen, most likely. I will never say never, because it's an our OCD thing, because never say never, things could happen, but it's not gonna happen soon. I still would like it to be with a king, with a child of a king, with more people, because currently I think not a lot of people would want to join. A lot of people lost interest in lore. I think there were like certain people which lost interest in lore, and basically we want to do our things, which is fair enough. So I do need to make more friends, but with social anxiety, it's a bit hard. And I don't really, at the same time, I've just been like feeling a bit empty, like regarding interacting with people, just, you know. So I'm going to talk about that later at the end. So regardless, it's just been hard, like, getting more friends. University projects, I would say I have like one or two, but yeah, university projects, perfectionism as well. It happens, but as you can see, my personal projects, when I'm fully in charge and perfectionism is ruling and I don't downscale, we fail. It fails because time runs out and I no longer have the time or friends or resources to do it. So basically, failure. Perfectionism leads to failure, which I'm so wanted to avoid. But regardless. So university projects perfectionism. It still happens in uni projects. When I'm tasked with a project, I imagine it so gratefully. I build like, fucking gold mountains. Like what I mean is like I overscale a lot. I think like, for example, I'm tasked with to make an Unreal Engine shooter, like maybe like not shooter, you have like, you can do anything in Unreal Engine, basically a simple game, anything. I try to make a movement shooter. I want to make a movement shooter with like weapons, with like inventory, with parkour, with a grappling hook, wall running, etc, 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 with dialogues, with voice acting, with like maybe like some our people as well acting for it. But yeah, basically I go full in. I go all in, and for a long time I really fear starting it, because I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I don't know how to do it. I feel like even learning, I feel like I'm gonna fail. This imposter syndrome. Even if I like this year, I had like this task. I already knew Unreal Engine. I still had that fear, but I'll fail. For every single uni project which I did, I had an intense fear. But last year, I was basically an imposter. Somehow managed to pass with flying colors, and I was basically like, just following YouTube tutorials. I don't know, just not good enough, like, not worthy, etc, 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 imposter syndrome. So what happens is when I start to try to study, it feels like I'm going against this like wind, like it's blowing in my fucking face. Like, okay, that sounds weird, but basically there's like a massive force pulling me back, from my goals, from my like trying to learn. And when I try to learn really hard, I try to stick with it for like 3 days, but I go into such details, in such minute details, trying to avoid any mistakes, any failures, anything that I like, it's like so obsessive. So it's wrong. It's wrong. It's not good. So I try to like go into every detail, learn everything, how this works, because if I don't understand it, I don't know nothing. And if I don't know nothing, I can't do nothing. So I overwork myself. I tend to really burn out from this. And then I stop trying. So that's what happens. But, you want to ask me how I still managed to finish this year with good grades as well? Still, everything which was, in my hands, I was able to get good grades. Even then, basically, I carried an entire group project, one of them. So you wanna know how I do it? Basically, anxiety. As you already noticed, I have OCD, but there's another whole layer to me. Is a generalized anxiety disorder, which I had no clue even existed until I was diagnosed with it by a psychiatrist. I thought it was called anxiety and just anxiety, but whatever. I do have anxiety, and the fear of failure gets flipped over when it's like, for example, 7 days left for a work to be done. And then there's the 7 days. I start to study so much. I started going against like everything. I don't sleep. I don't fucking drink energy drinks. I don't drink coffee. I don't do anything like at all, like to like keep my energy up, except anxiety, basically. So how does that work? Like there's like a lot of stress, a lot of adrenaline releases and stuff like that. And I like can spend weeks with like basically 5 hours of sleep. I had like this whole week, like when I had a deadline, I had 5 hours of sleep. And then like for the last day, I had 1 hour of sleep. And the other day I pulled an all-nighter to do it. And it was like 3 deadlines at the same time, basically. So for one deadline, it was like 1 week. For another deadline, it was like 2 days. And for the last deadline, also a week. Because I had an extension for like the last deadline. But it doesn't matter, because extensions, because of learning support dyspraxia. Thank you. So basically, this whole thing with anxiety is that I tend to like learn only the most important information. I don't really care how everything works to like a full extent as I generally understand it, but there's still a sense of perfectionism where I try to like, do as good job as I can in those limited time. But I also aim at a C. Like I always aim like there's like an A plus, but I like, yeah, I'm fine with a C. I just need to get something done. And I keep like going, like from like very small to very big. And it turns out to be amazing, like very great. So I got like an A plus for basically last two of my assessments, which were fully like on me. For one of the assessments, sadly, my group been also working. Sadly, yeah, they had a very hard task, so they didn't fully deliver, but it still was a good grade. It still was a pass. So yeah, it's fine. But I also added a lot of things. And uh, sadly, it was only 3 people working out of the 5, but it's fine. It's fine. But it was a big project. It was fine. So just people dropped out. Yeah. But yeah, the magic of anxiety, it really empowers me. It really gives me power. So what I do, but there's a deadline, but there's no threat, because university deadline is basically a threat. So fake deadlines, there's no threat, no punishment, doesn't work. So what works is real punishment. For example, I make a promise to my friend that I'm going to give him like money if I don't do something. Then it works. Then I start to work so fast, so so much better when that happens. But yeah, it's why I don't use it more often is because I get burned out after that. I get so burned out, it's crazy. I didn't really get to like a full burnout where like that method doesn't work anymore, but still, like if I keep overusing this, I will burn out myself to death. So I do really need to find a better way to work, because with OCD perfectionism, I will never be able to do my personal projects. Like that's like very big issue for me. So yeah, moving on from perfectionism, we already touched a bit of anxiety. But yeah, if you wonder why Kingdom's SMP failed and our my projects failed, yes, that's the issue. And I didn't have a threat advance, so of like with Overlook, I did have a threat of server ending and me not being able to finish the plot lines. So yeah, that's why Overlook succeeded and Kingdom's SMP and Invitin SMP failed. So yeah, that's the reason. So, introducing Generalized Anxiety Disorder, which I honestly don't know much about. I've been diagnosed with it, so that's kind of fun. I was blaming more things on OCD, but apparently they both coexist and improve each other quite a lot. So, what does it give? Paranoia. Yeah, OCD also has paranoia, but this is more like a constantly running paranoia, scared of like being spiked, scared of, like even with close friends, I do have a fear of being spiked, fear of our things like being attacked, scared of walking outside, scared of being robbed, anxiety, constant worries about little things. For example, you already noticed I worry about a lot of little things. Yeah, so for example, when like I can't fix a bug, I tend to worry about it a lot, and I like go full on to this bug. That's also part of perfectionism. But then it's so annoying when something is not fixed, and I tend to like put all my power into it. But yeah, there's also muscle tension, because I thought it was my dyspraxia, but apparently it's because like generalized anxiety disorder. Yeah, and fatigue. Fatigue is very annoying. I feel tired a lot. A lot. But it also causes procrastination. But the thing is, I have dyspraxia, which causes fatigue. I have OCD, which also drains me, and social anxiety as well, and GAD as well. So it's like social anxiety, no, fatigue 4x, basically. So yeah, and the main issue is health anxiety. That's why my psychiatrist spotted it. But it doesn't always involve compulsions. For example, my health anxiety about sun exposure, it's not really like a compulsion. I constantly worry about it. It's like a thing which is like, more like towards generalized anxiety disorder rather than OCD, but it's a bit iffy. It's really hard to like really differentiate them when they're together. But because of like this severe health anxiety, I always worry about my health a lot more than normal people do. I always want to like analyze my health. I always want to be like, know what's going on. I always want to like, also it could be caused by my OCD. So, like the whole generalized anxiety disorder, like health anxiety. So it's very like fear of deadly illnesses, as you already know. So very hand in hand, very like in power in jar. I also feel like doctors are a bit careless sometimes, like constantly, because yeah, and there's more like less OCD fears is like fear of losing limbs, fear of losing memory, brain injuries, and losing skills. Yeah. So it's like generalized anxiety disorder. You like tend to worry basically about anything. Yeah. Basically that's the thing. You over worry. You worry a bit too much. A bit too much, and it basically causes you to have a lesser quality of life. So now about social anxiety. Personally, I have a fear of asking. I had to basically at uni, where it was like a thing, which I think I talked about earlier, but I had to ask a class representative for something, and I'm not going to specify what. And I couldn't ask. I just felt so awkward. I couldn't start the conversation up. I just I just felt awkward, and I couldn't ask. Yeah. Feeling drained to fear. Yeah, when I like fear a lot, I just feel drained. I don't know. It's just like so annoying. Even before the stream, I was fucking shaking. I was literally shaking. That's how anxious I was. And I had an upset stomach because like I really had to go to a bathroom. And also the stream fucked up at the start. I was pressing start streaming. It was not starting. So yeah. Sorry. So yeah, in anticipation to big social events or performances, my stomach usually gets upset. And I also forgot that I actually mentioned it while I was shaking, but I do tend to shake, and my palms tend to like, but when I like jump into it, it feels way better because it's like acceptance. I'm already here. Doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, fear of rejection, judgment, bullying, being like an outcast. You know me. I already have experience with that, so it's fine. But yes, yes, I do fear it. So it's like a lot of feeling awkward, feeling like fear of being judged, misunderstood, and stuff like that. I know, Clarissa, you're no longer here, but here's your answer to the question. So, difference between introversion, social anxiety, and social phobia. Usually, not usually, introverts are not scared of being judged, and they don't have those symptoms. They usually just tend to stay to themselves because they prefer to, or smaller companies. Sadly, if you do have a fear of being judged, of being like you feel awkward, and you want to speak with people, but this awkwardness is like a wall to you, then I'm sorry to be a bearer of bad news. You might be socially anxious or socially phobic. It depends. It's because social phobia, social anxiety disorder, they're very close, hand in hand, I would say. Personally, I think actually I do have a social anxiety disorder because I think that's what might actually been written on the thing. But I just thought social anxiety disorder and social anxiety is the same thing, so I was a bit confused, but now I'm not because I did more research. So social anxiety disorder and social phobia is more extreme because entirely avoiding any social interactions, skip university, school, etc. I have it on a smaller scale, basically. Often includes physical symptoms. I'll say like it's more moderate, I'll say. Yeah, because uh I do like I was planning to do this stream for like such a long time, but this fear of being judged, of being bullied, of being misunderstood, of being like etc. etc. It's just been too much. It's been overwhelming. Couldn't really do it. It's been like a while, It's like I've been like lying down on my sofa, on my bed, just facing this feeling of like fear for like days and made me feel a bit depressed even at the point. I'm gonna talk about that later. But yeah, there's a bit of depression going on. Social phobia, social anxiety, and social anxiety, fear of being rejected, socially embarrassed, feeling overwhelmed, tense in social situations, awkward. So yeah, but kind of like social phobia is more like worse social anxiety, basically. But social anxiety can be as well normal, to a certain degree. But, usually it's something which you should be, which can go away by itself. But if it doesn't, then you should seek professional help to face your social anxiety. So, moving on. What helps me? Therapy practices. Ever since I started like my therapy at 15, I've been in contact with a therapist, with like helpers, with a therapy group. It's been amazing. It's been like super great practices, mindfulness, acceptance techniques, all that great stuff. Mindfulness is very good. Yeah. But again, as long as your professional is not recommending it to you, could have negative consequences as well. Sometimes it depends on your case. So I'm not saying you should be doing what I'm doing. So yeah, narrative therapy for me works great. Again, just me. For you, it could be different. So you should ask your therapist, your psychiatrist, even whatever you have access to. So using imagination to separate the problem from yourself by giving it a shape and name, etc. For example, it really helped with my OCD, like picturing as like something external rather than me, because that way it feels like I can like see it, I can imagine it, I can like basically see how like it pulls the strings, it pulls those chains, and I can easily or like easier dissociate from it and beat the rituals. Yeah. So, side note, due to a lot of stress and our problems, it intensified a lot recently. And I'm currently still waiting the response when I get a new UK therapist. So, yeah, been taking a while. So, due to the social anxiety, I feel a bit weird to ask them, like, like writing an email. I don't want to be too nosy about it. But due to how much like stuff been escalating recently, soon I will send them an hour email and I will get a new UK therapist as well. So, but the problem is I'm gonna go to Russia soon. And sadly, now viewer discretion, we're gonna talk about sad things, a bit more closer to depression, and yeah, it's just been too much. Yeah. So soon I'm going to Russia and it's quite dangerous. I think if I wasn't going, I would have delayed the stream, I'd have made it better, I'd have made a proper presentation, but it could be one of my last streams, so what's the point of delaying? I want to say I'm really looking forward for a future. As you can see, it's not really looking great. I'm not really hopeful, and overall I'm not living a life I want to live with all this chains from OCD, because it really like limits me in the way which I want to express myself, in the way which it's like all the fears. I didn't even share some aspects which, like, for example, would be like fucking just like, well, I think I did actually. Well, it doesn't matter. I didn't want to circle the thing about what was it? The gender identity thing. It's fine. So, anxiety, social anxiety, or was it? What was it called? Oh yeah, sexuality, not gender. But it doesn't matter. Regardless. Oh my god, I just said a completely different thing. Yeah, well, doesn't matter. It could be confusing. I know. Sorry, it's OCD. It's yeah, it's sexuality. So OCD, anxiety, social anxiety. So I have been feeling a bit low overall, especially without streaming. Currently, I feel a lot better, but I've been feeling a lot low yesterday. This whole day also, I've been feeling low. So overall, that significantly decreased the quality of life, and with things going on, I have been losing interest in many things, and even gaming on my new Switch too. It was a great distraction, but when I got too burned out, it was just painful, to be honest. Like, just gaming on it was like just like feeling like I was rotting away from the inside, because I have this whole thing, I have this whole stream to face, which I've been too afraid to do. So yeah, streaming is one of the things which I really care about and want to do. As many other things I care about are just slowly going away. Sadly, just been overly disappearing, overly, yeah. So that happens. Oh, so I will try to stream more. It just, my SMPs are gone, which I really liked. In between SMP, I don't think it will come back. I don't know. It's just like the friends as well, just been falling out with them. It's kind of really sad. It's been painful, but it's life. But still, it's just like, wow, been quite depressed because of that. But it's what it is. And streaming is like one of the things which I really like, which I really value, which I really enjoy. Surprisingly, I would say I really want to do it, but social anxiety really likes to pull their strings on me, So yeah, I've been feeling depressed overall. Not horribly, not too badly, but like sad, down, depressed, mildly. So yeah, if I get diagnosed with mild depression in the future, I wouldn't be surprised. I just been like tired of all this like worrying, and I just really wanted to like not worry too much anymore. So yeah, it just the thing. I'm just gonna say implyingly, nothing is that bad. Nothing is that bad to like where I want to end myself, but it's just like so many things where like you just think about like, oh my god, so like Jesus Christ, it's so Jesus Christ, bro, Jesus, like it's wow, wow. But I just tend to worry a lot, and I just don't want to worry as much anymore, and but thankfully there's therapy, yay. So yeah, but yeah, I'll try to stream tomorrow. Yeah, as well. That's going to be one of my last streams. Maybe I will stream 17th, 18th. The new Nintendo Switch game, so Donkey Kong Bananas, is coming out. So we're going to stream it tomorrow, and continue to stream maybe in Russia. Highly unlikely because I'll be moving a lot. I'll be not feeling super safe. So my mental health is going to degrade in Russia, sadly. But if I return from Russia, I will stream more. I don't mean like dying in Russia in particular, what it could happen. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's possible if all that shit was going on. So what I mean more is that I'm gonna have trouble living in the country, or that I'm gonna be drafted, or that I'm gonna be like stuck there. But again, with this mental health, you're usually not drafted. So I'm planning to get diagnosed in Russia as well, because that way I'm gonna like officially be diagnosed in Russia. They don't really accept UK stuff. So yeah, and if I get diagnosed with mild depression, I will let you know. There's gonna be another updates regarding that. But again, I feel so happy right now streaming. I feel so good that this like mild depression doesn't feel as bad anymore, So that's really good. I actually enjoyed this stream. So looking forward for some Minecraft. I've been popping up on an MCCI from time to time. Yeah, been quite awkward sometimes, but shit happens. So Hypixel, I really want to start playing Hypixel because it's been like, damn, I didn't play it in a while. And lore, I still wish to learn Blender lore, lol. So yeah, I want to do more lore in the future. Yeah, I just need to get more people. I just need to get new friends, and I need to basically, maybe I will do it in a form of videos separately. I don't know. Whatever will. I just still really like doing lore. That's the thing. I like streaming. I like doing lore. That's like the things I enjoy. So maybe some Overwatch 2. And I really want to play some Undertale in the future. When I come back from Russia, definitely will start Undertale. And switch to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I want to stream at least my first impression of it, because I really been wanting to play this game. That's the reason. Play the new Deltarune games. I want to play the Undertale first. So yeah, SMPs and lore. Currently I want to continue making SMPs, but due to some issues with friends, falling outs, and probably I won't do SMP as soon. But maybe in the form of videos there will be some lore, like I originally planned before Overlook SMP. yeah, I plan to do some lore in the videos, like the hardcore series, and that stuff was like supposed to have lore. So maybe I'm gonna go back to that stuff with some interesting lore implications. So, but in between SMP, it's gonna have an ending at some point in the future. I really want to do that. No promises, but I really want to do it. I really want to have an ending when in the future. Yeah, whenever that happens, like a proper canonical ending. So yeah. Oh, that was a fucking tough stream, Clue. So you've been really late. You missed a lot of things. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. So yeah, especially ending it on a high note, on the high note of the future. Yeah, I don't really have any more slides. I don't really have any more slides. Anything more to say? Just want to say that OCD is serious, and you should get some help. You know, if you think you have it. But yeah, yeah, basically, I think I'm going to be ending stream soon. So if you have any questions, anything like that, I don't really expect questions, but yeah, it's been an honor. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention how I found out about OCD. Basically, I heard about it quite a lot, and I always ignored it, saying like, "Oh yeah, it's kind of similar to like how I'm feeling," but it can't be. Can't be. It's too magical. It's too different. And when I heard about CG5, if you know his content creator, he makes songs, music, very interesting music, I would say. And I've been following him for a while, been just like enjoying his stuff. Like Lonely King was amazing and stuff like that. And yeah, it's been diabolical. It's been diabolical. I found about his like condition because he made a song about OCD, the mental health illness, and I was like, "What is OCD?" And I started reading about it, and I realized that sounds a lot like me. That sounds a lot like me, and I was like, "No way, no way." And I realized, oh my god, it's just OCD. It's not some magical bullshit thing I have to care about. It's just some fucking. And I thought it'd be easy to take care of. No, I have a fucking moderate to severe OCD, which is tend to be very resilient, and it comes back from stress. Like even some rituals. Well, I have constant rituals which I'm not able to eliminate even right now. But some rituals I was able to eliminate. They came back because of stress, and currently I wouldn't say I'm on the high horse regarding OCD or mental health regardless. And I would have delayed the stream because like I probably should have waited more time, but because I'm going to rush, I won't be able to stream at all. So that's the point. And just this like 1% danger is really fucking driving me nuts. Like, what if 1% is real and something bad will happen because of it? It's like always like I tend to like make bad choices usually because of that. Like I just take like maybe it's more like even from uh generalized anxiety disorder, where it's like my brain really obsesses over small things, like scared of like really like small fucking things as well. So yeah. Oh, haven't heard much of it, but I relate to like a lot of it. Yeah, you should. I can't help you sadly. If I could, I would. To be honest, if I could, I would. The best thing I can tell you is to get uh diagnosed as soon as you can. It's a serious thing. So yeah. Regardless, what I want to say is 1% danger. If it's real, it's really hard to get rid of, and it comes back from stress. Same with our external threats, where my brain just scans for threats or things. Even if it's just 1% danger, I just do the best thing I think I can to like eliminate this danger. Like for example, by avoiding it, by by doing a ritual to cancel it, or doing another thing. But again, it's not the best thing. Not the best thing to do. Like like to let your anxiety to like control your life like that. So yeah, I definitely can't wait till I get a new UK therapist as well. So maybe I will do another update in the future, like showing progress. And if I get diagnosed with a minor depression, well, you'll hear about it. So yeah, that's great. So raids. I want to talk about raids. I didn't do raids in a while, and basically why is because I felt socially anxious meeting new people, to be honest. So the thing is we could raid somebody. I just have to stop. Yeah, okay, perfect. Basically it was a great stream. Oh, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, it's I would say definitely a thing which I avoided for a while. Oh well, to be honest, I just checked we have 1 viewer, so it's fine. I think we can miss this one, right? Fuck. That's a dilemma. That's a dilemma right here. Who is streaming? Ah, no. I'm not gonna raid anybody today. There's actually I'm gonna justify it. You know why? Because we're gonna check what I've been streaming about, and we might get triggered by the mental health topics. So yeah, because there's a whole disclaimer on top about mental health topics. So yeah, if you're gonna like rate somebody and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, what did you stream about? And I'm like, yeah, mental health, OCD, and they might get like, it's not a great thing, like, just like popping out of nowhere. But next stream tomorrow, I think I'm gonna rate somebody. Yes, it's gonna be a Donkey Kong Bonanza stream if I can get my hands on the game. I will get my hands on the game. And Clursu, if you want to talk, we can talk. Yeah, I just maybe in like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. But yeah, anyways, thank you anybody who listened, anybody who understood. There's been a lot of, references. There's been a lot of things. There's been quite a few undertones in the things as well. So yeah, there's been a lot of work. So yeah, call me right after if you want. Yeah, I need a few moments. Yeah, bye. See you soon, everybody. Good.